Chapter 1034. Great Emperor Tianyi, bang! The seal slammed into Guan Tianba's fist light, instantly dispersing it. Guan Tianba had no way of defending himself. The life seal slammed into his chest, sending him flying. Damn it! How is this possible? At this moment, Guan Tianba realized that he had been tricked. Yang Hongwu didn't expend much energy to break through the formation. Moreover, that wasn't even his greatest trump card. He actually had such a powerful, true treasure. This was beyond his expectations. Regret. Right now, he was extremely regretful. However, it was too late for regrets. Yang Hongwu's attacks came one after another, not giving him a chance to catch his breath. Damn bastard. Even if I die, I won't let you off. Guan Tianba was infuriated. He began to burn his soul power. His aura rose. In a flash, he charged towards Bai Yiran and the others. Yang Hongwu sneered when he saw this. His eyes were filled with murderous intent. You're courting death. This guy actually wanted to make a move against Bai Yiran and the others. He must definitely kill him right here and now. One thought of life. Once again, Yang Hongwu unleashed a powerful aura. This time, Yang Hongwu did not hold back. Although the attack had expended a lot of energy, it had severely injured Guan Tianba. Originally, Yang Hongwu would not use one thought of life again. After all, it would be a huge burden on Yang Hongwu. This burden was unbearable. However, Guan Tianba wanted to attack Bai Yiran and the others. Yang Hongwu was enraged. Therefore, he unleashed all his energy to use one thought of life for the second time. The huge seal had enlarged significantly and was now as large as a mountain. It blotted out the sky as it shot towards Guan Tianba. Bang! With a loud bang, the life seal smashed Guan Tianba into the ground like a mountain. The one thought of life had crushed Guan Tianba's soul. The people seal was a weapon at the level of a real treasure, and it was extremely powerful. Even though Yang Hongwu was not able to unleash the full power of the people's seal, it was still very powerful. Unless one was an expert in the realm of Tai real God or a cultivator who had comprehended doctrine, it was impossible to withstand the attack of the people's seal. The moment Yang Hongwu killed Guan Tianba, a vast source of energy turned into a five-colored light and shot towards Yang Hongwu. Yang Hongwu's expression changed. He wanted to dodge the five-colored light, but there was no way for him. He had used one thought of life twice, which consumed a lot of energy. He could not dodge it. He could only watch as the five-colored light shot into his forehead. Be careful. Bai Yiran and the others turned pale with fright when they saw this scene. Leader Tianyi felt a familiar aura and said, "Don't worry, it's fine. This is Emperor Tianyi's source energy. It's something that only the leader of the Tianyi immortal abode can inherit." I didn't expect Emperor Tianyi's source energy to recognize him as its master. Leader Tianyi sighed with emotion. Although he was the leader of the Tianyi Immortal Mansion, he had not truly obtained the recognition of the Tianyi Great Emperor's origin and had not been able to truly refine the origin power left behind by the Tianyi Great Emperor. Therefore, he was easily suppressed by Guan Tianyi and thrown into the Tianyi prison. If he had truly refined the origin power of the Tianyi Great Emperor, he would not have been suppressed so easily. Seeing Emperor Tianyi's source energy recognize Yang Hongwu as its master, Leader Tianyi was still very disappointed. After all, he was the leader of the Tianyi Immortal Abode. Emperor Tianyi's source energy originally belonged to him. If he could truly refine this source energy, his strength could truly break through to the Great Emperor realm, or even the invincible Great Emperor realm. However, without Emperor Tianyi's source energy, it would be very difficult for him to break through to the Great Emperor realm. He did not know how long it would take, let alone the invincible Great Emperor realm. At this time, Emperor Tianyi's source energy poured into Yang Hongwu's mind. The source energy constantly transformed Yang Hongwu's physical body, causing his physical body to be greatly improved once again. It reached a critical point of the primordial true immortal realm. It could be said that as long as there was a slight improvement, his physical body would be able to compete with a primordial true immortal realm expert. However, This critical point was the difference between heaven and earth. It was too difficult to break through this critical point. It was not realistic at all. In his divine abode, the figure of an expert appeared. This expert was none other than Emperor Tianyi. Back then, when Yang Hongwu was in the Tianyi Immortal Abode's Trial Tower, he had met Emperor Tianyi once. This time they met again. "We meet again." Emperor Tianyi looked at Yang Hongwu and said, "Senior." Yang Hongwu was a little surprised. However, after thinking about it, he understood. This should be the source energy left behind by Emperor Tianyi. In this source energy, there was a wisp of Emperor Tianyi's divine soul. This was Emperor Tianyi's divine soul. The power that transformed his physical body just now was probably Emperor Tianyi's source energy. "I didn't expect you to reach such a level in such a short period of time. This is good too. Since you can grow so quickly, you will be able to resist the great calamity of Jiuqian Shidi," Emperor Tianyi said. "Senior, you think too much. My strength isn't even in the Emperor realm. How can I resist the great calamity of Jiuqian Shidi?" Yang Hongwu said, "Brat, although your cultivation base has yet to reach the great Emperor realm, your fighting strength and your physical body have already surpassed the great Emperor realm. Moreover, you have a true treasure with you. Those are true treasures I have cultivated for so many years and only managed to break through to the primordial true God realm. Even I only have 2 low-grade true treasures. However, you actually have a top-grade true treasure. This is tempting," Emperor Tianyi said snappily. "Moreover, the strength of your physical body is almost at the Tai true God realm. Once your cultivation realm breaks through to the Emperor realm, your strength will reach an extreme. In Jiuqian Shidi, almost no one is your opponent. Even if you encounter a Tai true God realm expert, you will be able to resist one move. Only one move." Yang Hongwu's eyes widened. "No way so weak?" Chapter 1035. Heaven and earth could not tolerate when Yang Hongwu heard this. He could not help but smile embarrassedly. All along, challenging someone of a higher level had been a common occurrence. According to what Emperor Tianyi said, it was almost impossible for him to challenge an expert of the primordial true God realm. Therefore, he was still quite depressed. The only way was to break through to the great Emperor realm in a short period of time. However, it wasn't easy to break through to the great Emperor realm. Although he was only a step away from the great Emperor realm, it was a step away from the great Emperor realm. It would be extremely difficult for him to take another step forward. Perhaps, if the Taishang demon merged with his original body, his strength would reach that level. However, it was still a big problem to open the passage to the demon domain. Now that ancient domain and heavenly domain had merged, there was a huge restriction on the power of the laws. It was very difficult to open the passage between ancient domain and demon domain. Even if the passage could be opened, it would be very dangerous. If he wasn't careful, he might fall into the spatial turbulence. If he fell into the turbulence, he might enter another world if he was lucky. If he wasn't, he might die. It wasn't worth it to take such a risk. Therefore, he still needed to think of a way to break through to the great Emperor realm. "Senior, do you have a way to help me break through? I'm afraid that Ztion's strength has reached a terrifying level. It won't be long before he breaks through to the Tai true demon realm. At that time, no one in Jiuqian Shidi will be able to contend with him. The entire Jiuqian Shidi will be finished," Yang Hongwu said. "You're saying to break through to the great Emperor realm?" Emperor Tianyi asked. "Yes. If I can't break through to the great Emperor realm, I don't have the confidence to deal with that guy." Yang Hongwu smiled bitterly. Although Ztion had been defeated by him many times, he had to admit that Ztion's strength had become very terrifying. Even his avatar's strength was very terrifying. Although Ztion couldn't kill him now, he couldn't defeat Ztion either. Yang Hongwu could only rely on his physical strength to resist Ztion's attack. If Ztion had other secret techniques, the consequences would be unimaginable. It wasn't that Yang Hongwu wasn't confident, but Ztion's strength was indeed very strong. In comparison, Zetian had probably merged with his Tai true demon body. Even if his strength hadn't reached the level of a Tai true demon, it wouldn't be far from it. It's very difficult for you to break through to the great Emperor realm. This is the foundation of breaking through to the Tai true God realm. Moreover, you've comprehended a trace of Tao spirituality, which is very helpful for you to break through to the Tai true God realm. However, it's very difficult to break through to the great Emperor realm. Your foundation is too strong, almost hundreds of times stronger than ordinary people. In other words, every time you break through to the next level, you'll have to accumulate and settle 100 times more than ordinary people. Therefore, if you want to break through, it'll be hundreds of times more difficult than ordinary people. Moreover, when you break through, the test you'll have to face will be thousands of times more difficult than ordinary people because your physique and aptitude are too heaven-defying. Once you break through, you will face the suppression of the heavenly Tao and even the great Tao, which will destroy you because your existence has threatened the heavenly Tao and even the great Tao, Emperor Tianyi said. Yang Hongwu's face darkened when he heard this. It turned out that he had become an existence that the heavenly Tao didn't tolerate and the great Tao didn't like. Once he wanted to break through, he would be targeted by the heavenly Tao and the great Tao. This wasn't a good thing. In this way, if he wanted to break through, he would have to go against the heavens. However, cultivating a diagram was originally going against the heavens. I even suspect that the appearance of this Zetian is very likely to deal with you. Therefore, I suspect that the reason for this series of changes is because of you. Your physique is special, a legendary physique. Moreover, tens of thousands of years ago, a demonic dragon appeared. It was a super expert with the same physique as you. It was extremely heaven-defying, but in the end, it fell in the true God domain. And I suspect that you are the reincarnation of the demonic dragon. The reason why you encountered so many difficulties and tribulations, and how difficult it is to break through, is thousands of times more difficult than ordinary people, is because the heavenly Tao is targeting you. Yang Hongwu rolled his eyes when he heard this. This matter was getting more and more mysterious. He had become that super expert, the reincarnation of the demonic dragon. The heavens wanted to kill him, and the great tribulation of heaven and earth erupted because of him. That Zetian, a terrifying Tai true demon, was going to be born because of him. It was a demon created by the heavenly Tao to deal with him. This was simply nonsense. I say, Senior, aren't you being too ridiculous? How could I possibly have such great ability? Yang Hongwu smiled bitterly. Moreover, my cultivation isn't as difficult as you say. How long have I been cultivating? In fact, I haven't encountered many difficulties. I haven't encountered many dangers or setbacks. Even if there were dangers, they were all frightening but not dangerous. Otherwise, who would be able to cultivate to such a level in such a short period of time, less than 100 years? I'm afraid this is the scheme of your previous life. It might be the game between your previous life, the heavenly Tao, and the great Tao. I even suspect that there's a super almighty behind you. This super almighty is probably an existence that surpasses the heavenly Tao or even the great Tao. If it's really that person, then your future is limitless. When Emperor Tianyi said this, his eyes revealed a trace of envy. This couldn't escape Yang Hongwu's eyes. He asked, Senior, are you saying that there is a supreme existence behind me? Stronger than you, more terrifying than the heavenly Tao and the great Tao? This is just my guess. Emperor Tianyi said. Who is that person? Yang Hongwu asked. There is no benefit for you to know these things. When your cultivation reaches the Tai true God realm and you enter the true God realm, you will know. Emperor Tianyi said, Senior, if it's according to what you said, wouldn't I not have to worry? With a super almighty as my backer, I can do whatever I want. Yang Hongwu said. Chapter 1036. Method of breakthrough. In his eyes, you only have a slightly better physique. There are countless geniuses in the great thousand world. There are many who can be compared to you, but there are only a few who can enter his eyes. Only those who can meet his expectations can become his disciple. So you mean I'm just a disciple candidate of that expert? Yang Hongwu asked. Yes. Emperor Tianyi nodded and said, You're not qualified now. You have to wait until your strength increases and you reach the Tai, true God realm. Only then will you be qualified to become his disciple. Yang Hongwu heard that. That person was really awesome. Only Tai, true gods were qualified to become his disciple, and this was only the threshold. If one's cultivation didn't reach the Tai, true God realm, one wouldn't even be qualified to become his disciple. This showed how terrifying and powerful that person's strength was. It wouldn't be easy to become his disciple. Of course, for Yang Hongwu, if he really reached the Tai, true God realm, would he still need to be apprenticed? This requirement is too high. Disciple candidate, this is really nothing. There's no benefit, Yang Hongwu said. You brat, you don't know how lucky you are. You don't know how many people want to be that expert's disciple candidate, but they aren't qualified. Many monstrous geniuses have reached the invincible great emperor realm, but they aren't qualified to be his disciple candidate. You're only in the great saint realm now, and you haven't even reached the great emperor realm, but you've already become that senior's disciple candidate. I'm very jealous. Emperor Tianyi said snappily, although that expert can't give you anything now, it'll be different once you successfully break through to the Tai true God realm. Once you pass the assessment, you can truly become that expert's disciple. That expert's strength is sky high, his status is high, and his cultivation realm is even above the great Tao. Tell me, if you can become that expert's disciple, who would dare to harm you? Moreover, the most important thing is not these, but the problem of one's own cultivation. In the path of cultivation, there are thousands of difficulties and obstacles, countless terrible tempering, disasters, and battles. We have to experience all of them. If we are not careful, we may die and vanish like smoke. However, if we can really become the disciple of that Almighty, then it will be different. That Almighty's strength is enough to overturn the universe, control life and death, and control the creation of heaven and earth. There is nothing that he can't do. When Yang Hongwu heard this, he said, So what? It's still too far away for me. I'm only at the great sage realm now. I don't know when I'll break through to the great emperor realm. You are truly unteachable, Emperor Soul Sky said. Senior, you'd better tell me if there's a way to make my strength break through to the great emperor realm. This is the most important thing. If my cultivation can't reach the great emperor realm in a short time, I'm afraid there's no way to suppress that damn devil's Etion. At that time, the entire Jiutian City will be finished. Yang Hongwu said, The Tianyi immortal mansion that you created will be destroyed because of this. Can you bear to see your own efforts, your own legacy, destroyed? Yang Hongwu knew very well that for an expert, especially one who had reached such a high level of cultivation, the inheritance of their orthodoxy was the most important. It was what they truly valued. Of course, I know what you're thinking. If you want to break through to the great emperor realm, there's only one way. Emperor Soul Sky said, What is it? Yang Hongwu was overjoyed. If he really had a way, then it couldn't be better. If he could break through to the great emperor realm, then Yang Hongwu would have absolute confidence in dealing with Zetion. Refine the origin energy of Jiutian City and become the master of Jiutian City. Emperor Soul Sky said, Senior, isn't it too difficult to refine the origin energy of Jiutian City? Not to mention refining, I don't even have a way to find the origin energy of Jiutian City. How can I refine it? Yang Hongwu smiled bitterly. Moreover, refining the origin energy of Jiutian City wasn't an easy task. Even if he knew where the origin energy of Jiutian City was, he would have to go through many difficulties to refine it. And he was someone who was not tolerated by the heavenly Tao. If he wanted to refine the origin energy, he would definitely be obstructed by the heavenly Tao. The heavenly Tao would do everything it could to stop Yang Hongwu from refining the origin energy of Jiutian City. It might even draw out the great Tao. If the great Tao appeared, then Yang Hongwu really didn't have the confidence to stop it. Unless Yang Hongwu could refine the origin energy of Jiutian City before the great Tao appeared, otherwise, all of this was empty talk. I can naturally guide you to find the origin energy of Jyotian. Otherwise, there's no need for me to say it. Emperor Soul Sky said. Where is it? Yang Hongwu said. In the ancient desolate continent. Emperor Soul Sky said. Yang Hongwu was stunned when he heard this. He looked at Emperor Soul Sky in disbelief. Senior, are you joking with me? How can it be in the ancient desolate continent? That's the lowest level continent. The origin energy of Jyotian is indeed in the ancient desolate continent. However, if you want to find it, you'll need to spend some time and effort. Emperor Soul Sky said. All right, then how can I find it? Moreover, after I find it, is there any way to block the heavenly Tao? Otherwise, once you start refining the origin energy of Jyotian, the heavenly Tao will definitely sense it. Then, it'll be impossible to truly refine it. Yang Hongwu said, That's a problem, but there's a way. You need to set up a formation. I know that your attainments and formations are extremely high. In Jyotian, no one can compare to you in terms of breaking formations. But even so, you're still lacking. Although you're good at breaking formations, there's still a big gap in terms of setting up formations. So, you need to work on formations. Emperor Soul Sky said, Senior, are you saying that you know of a formation that can block the heavenly Tao and disrupt heaven's secrets? Yang Hongwu's eyes lit up. If there really was such a good method, that would be great. After refining the origin energy of Jyotian and breaking through to the Emperor realm, Yang Hongwu wouldn't even be afraid of the heavenly Tao of Jyotian. Chapter 1037. Immemorial Divine Temple, that's right. With such a formation, it's indeed possible. However, given your current situation, I'm afraid you won't be able to do it. Moreover, it's impossible for one person to set up such a formation. At least 2 formation masters are needed to set it up together, said Emperor Tianyi. 2 formation masters? What's their level? 2 formation masters. They must be imperial grade formation masters. If they aren't, it's impossible. Most importantly, the 2 formation masters must be telepathic. Emperor Tianyi sighed. That's why I said it's extremely difficult to set up such a formation. Senior, how about this? Tell me the diagram of the formation first. Then tell me the exact location of a 9 heavens, 10 earths quintessence. As for the rest, I'll figure it out myself. Yang Hongwu thought for a moment and said, Imperial grade formation masters? What a joke. There wasn't a single Imperial grade formation master in the entire 9 heavens, 10 earths. Even if there was, they might not agree to help him set up such a formation. After all, such a formation was extremely dangerous. Once it was sensed by the heavenly Tao, it wouldn't be tolerated by the heavens. Just like him, they would be punished by the heavens. No one was willing to become such a person, an enemy of the heavenly Tao. Perhaps there was someone who could help him. A light flashed in Yang Hongwu's mind as he thought of a person, his own woman, Gu Shaoxian. Wasn't she an array formation master? However, Gu Shaoxian was too weak. Her cultivation base was too weak. She was only in the Sage Realm now. Who knew how long it would take for her to enter the Great Sage Realm? Yang Hongwu smiled bitterly in his heart. His women weren't very strong at first. However, after cultivating in the Immortal Pagoda for so long, their strength had increased by leaps and bounds. However, they were only in the Sage Realm now. The only one who had reached the Great Sage Realm was Princess Guyu. As for the Great Emperor Realm, there wasn't a single one. As for Xian Ming, she wasn't considered as woman yet. Of course, the strongest was Pan and I. Pan and I was already an expert of the primordial true god realm. However, it was a pity that she was in the real god territory and had no way of helping him. The only one who could help him was Gu Shaoxian. Gu Xiaoxuan's attainments in the field of formation were indeed shocking. She was not much weaker than him in some aspects. However, there was still a huge gap between her and an imperial grade formation master. His own cultivation base was also far too weak. Although her aptitude was outstanding, it was still extremely difficult for her to reach the Great Emperor realm. Thinking of this, Yang Hongwu sighed. There was no other way. If he could refine the origin of Jyotian and become a Great Emperor expert, then he could integrate his little devil world, Witch World, Wuji Space, and other worlds together. If he could integrate with Jiuqian Shidi, then his strength would become very terrifying. He could even truly control the common people's seal and become the true owner of the common people's divine realm. At that time, wouldn't it be a matter of a thought for him to raise the strength of his women? Thinking of the common people's seal, Yang Hongwu's mind flashed again. Perhaps he could use the common people's seal to block the perception of the heavenly way. The common people's seal was a genuine treasure, a top genuine treasure. The level of the common people's seal should be stronger than the heavenly way of Jiuqian Shidi. However, it was a pity that he couldn't control the common people's seal with his strength. Senior, can you use a genuine treasure to block the heavenly way? For example, in your 18 levels of prison, can this genuine treasure block the heavenly way? Yang Hongwu asked. If it's my original body, it can. However, my original body is in the true God domain. With my original body's strength, there's no way for me to break through the spatial crystal wall of the true God domain to reach here and block the heavenly way. Therefore, although your idea is good, there's no way for it to be realized. Emperor Tianyi shook his head and sighed. I'm just a strand of consciousness. Now that I've seen you, my consciousness is about to dissipate. The 18 levels of prison will also be handed over to you to control. However, you have to remember that the 18 levels of prison are part of the Tianyi Immortal Mansion. The entire Tianyi Immortal Mansion is a lower rank genuine treasure. Your strength isn't enough to truly control it. You can only use a portion of the Tianyi Immortal Mansion's power. However, even a portion of its power is enough for you to fight against invincible great emperors. If you're strong enough to surpass invincible great emperors, you must truly break through to the great emperor realm. The 18 levels of prison are only part of the Tianyi Immortal Mansion. If the Tianyi Immortal Mansion is a lower rank genuine treasure, then what about the other 3 immortal mansions? Thinking of this, Yang Hongwu frowned. Among the 4 major immortal mansions, the Tianyi Immortal Mansion was a lower grade true treasure. The Sea Immortal Mansion, Tai Immortal Mansion, and Kunlun Immortal Mansion must also be true treasures. Otherwise, how could the 4 major immortal mansions be equally famous? Were they on the same level? You guessed right. The 4 immortal mansions are all genuine treasures. If you can control the 4 immortal mansions together, then you can open the door to the true God domain. The 4 immortal mansions were originally treasures from an immemorial temple in the true God domain. That immemorial temple is an ancient temple that has existed since who knows when. Rumor has it that the immemorial temple appeared together with the entire true God domain. There are countless terrifying existences and countless treasures inside. These 4 immortal mansions are just some of the worst treasures. There are even legendary existences inside. Of course, these are still too far away for you. However, if you can really control the 4 immortal mansions together, then there will be a huge surprise. This surprise will be even greater than the life Great Seal, said Emperor Tianyi. Hearing Emperor Tianyi mention the life Great Seal, Yang Hongwu's heart skipped a beat. You don't have to be nervous. Although the life Great Seal is good, it has already recognized you as its master. It's impossible for me to obtain it. Moreover, I'm just a consciousness right now. It's impossible for me to snatch your life Great Seal. Moreover, you are someone who is valued by that person. If I snatch your life Great Seal, I'm afraid I will anger that person. No one is willing to truly anger that existence, unless they don't want to live anymore. Emperor Tianyi said with a smile when he saw Yang Hongwu's nervousness. Yang Hongwu was a little embarrassed when he heard this. Senior, what is the great surprise and opportunity that you mentioned? Yang Hongwu said, what kind of opportunity is there to truly control the 4 immortal mansions at the same time? I'm even more curious about what you said. Chapter 1038. Enemies. A ray of light entered Yang Hongwu's forehead. Then, a strong light shrouded Yang Hongwu and the others. In the next moment, Yang Hongwu and the others disappeared from the spot. This is the Tianyi Immortal Mansion. We're out. We're finally out of that damn place. Everyone was overjoyed when they got out of the 18th level of the prison. They were suppressed in the 18th level of the prison and had no freedom. They were even punished by the heavens. Now that they were out of the 18th level of the prison, they were naturally overjoyed. Magical power. I can finally feel the existence of magical power again. The starry sky dragon roared and transformed into a giant dragon. The Vajra Tyrannosaurus did the same. Damn human, your bloodline is so pure. I can become a true dragon after devouring you. The starry sky dragon glared at Yang Hongwu, wanting to break the seal that Yang Hongwu left on him. You want to rebel? Yang Hongwu squinted his eyes and unleashed a terrifying aura. This aura was even stronger. The entire Tianyi Immortal Mansion was under his control. It was enough to suppress an invincible Great Emperor. The starry sky dragon was instantly suppressed by this terrifying aura. Although he was strong and had a strong physique, his true cultivation was only at the Great Emperor realm. He wasn't at the level of an invincible Great Emperor yet. How could he resist the aura of the entire Tianyi Immortal Mansion? The entire Tianyi Immortal Mansion's power was enough to kill an invincible Great Emperor. How could the starry sky dragon and the Vajra Tyrannosaurus resist? Kill him, Master. Kill this bastard. He actually wants to harm Master and betray Master. This lowly one thinks that we should kill him, skin him alive, and pull out his tendons, then throw him back into the 18th level of the prison. Let him never reincarnate. Vajra Tyrannosaurus was overjoyed. He rejoiced in his heart. Fortunately, he did not make a move on Yang Hongwu earlier. Otherwise, he would not be any better off. King Kong, you also have a rebellious heart just now. Don't think that I don't know. Yang Hongwu coldly snorted and said. When King Kong Tyrannosaurus heard that, he was shocked. He quickly swore to the heavens. No, Master, I wouldn't dare betray you. I would never do such a thing. Master, I am loyal to you. All right, take this. Yang Hongwu threw out 2 pills. These were blood pet pills, super blood pet pills. Previously, without the suppression of the blood pet elixir, Yang Hongwu had no way of controlling these 2 fellows. Now that he was out of the 18th level of the prison, the blood pet elixir was naturally not a problem. With the mysterious god refining method, it was a piece of cake for Yang Hongwu to refine a few blood pet elixirs. This is the blood pet elixir. When King Kong Tyrannosaurus saw the elixir that Yang Hongwu took out, he was shocked. Of course, he knew that once he consumed the blood pet elixir, his life would be in Yang Hongwu's hands. Unless his cultivation reached the level of a primordial unity true god, it would be impossible for him to escape Yang Hongwu's control. However, although he was unwilling, he had no other choice. If he didn't take the elixir, Yang Hongwu would definitely kill him. They would kill him and not give him any chance to escape. Why? You don't want to? Yang Hongwu snorted and said, If you don't want to, then you can go and die. Yes, I do. King Kong Rex immediately swallowed the elixir. At that moment, a red light fell between his eyebrows and formed a special mark. At that moment, King Kong Rex was completely controlled. As long as Yang Hongwu was willing, even if King Kong Rex had to die, he wouldn't hesitate. I'm willing too. Starry Sky, Savage Dragon nodded. If he didn't agree, he would die. Of course, he didn't want to die. He had no choice but to take the elixir. Yang Hongwu heaved a sigh of relief after getting rid of these 2 hidden dangers. These 2 guys were strong. Although they weren't his match, even Tian Mei and Xianming might not be their match. If they were to cause trouble, it would be troublesome. Yang Hongwu didn't want such a situation to happen at this critical moment. Leader, Yang Hongwu, that's great. You're finally out. Tengaku was overjoyed when he saw Yang Hongwu appear. Mais Hen, I made you worry all this time. It's all right. It's all right as long as you're out, leader. Tengaku said happily. Master, the Tianyi Immortal Mansion depends on you now. I have other things to do. Yang Hongwu handed over the control of the Tianyi Immortal Mansion to Leader Tianyi. Now that Leader Tianyi had lost the source of the Tianyi Great Emperor, he had to obtain Yang Hongwu's approval if he wanted to control the core of the Tianyi Immortal Mansion again. Hongwu, you've already obtained the approval of the source of the Tianyi Great Emperor. You're the leader of the Tianyi Immortal Mansion. I should step down as well. Leader Tianyi shook his head and said, I should cultivate properly now. Now that the Celestial Domain and Ancient Domain have merged, I'm too weak. I don't have the power to fight against those Celestial Domain experts. If the Great Calamity comes in the future, I won't even be able to protect myself. Therefore, you should be in charge of the Tianyi Immortal Mansion. You're much stronger than me now. This Tianyi Immortal Mansion can only display its greatest power in your hands. Master, I'm not joking. I'm serious. You're still in charge of the Tianyi Immortal Mansion. You're the leader of the Tianyi Immortal Mansion, and I have many things to do. In fact, the Great Calamity has already begun. Although my strength isn't bad, it's still far from enough. That Zetian is my sworn enemy, and he's also the biggest devil in the 9 heavens and 10 earths. He's even stronger than Guan Tiantao. Moreover, he's not in his strongest state yet. Yang Hongwu had just finished speaking when he felt an earth-shattering sound. A ray of light appeared, and a huge spatial tunnel descended into the Tianyi Immortal Mansion. Not good. It's the Guan family of the Celestial Domain. At this moment, Tengaku's expression changed. He shouted, Leader, hurry up and activate the formation to stop these guys from coming in. Guan family? Yang Hongwu squinted his eyes, and a cold light flashed in his eyes. Although the Guan family of the Celestial Domain was strong, this was the Ancient Domain. Yang Hongwu wasn't afraid. Guanling, Great Emperor Guanling, Xian Ming's expression sank. She knew this Guanling Yang Hongwu could sense this aura as well. It was a familiar aura. This fella had once attacked him back in the ancient desolate continent, in the Morning Soul Mountain Range, in the tomb of the Morning Soul Emperor. Chapter 1039. Fight! Yang Hongwu did not expect it to be this fella. He was almost killed by this fella. He did not expect him to appear here. Looking at this fella, Yang Hongwu could not figure out why this fella wanted to kill him. Could he be related to Zetian? Or could it be that this fella already knew that he would become the enemy of the Guan clan? No matter what, Guanling was his enemy. He had to die. Yang Hongwu's eyes shot out a cold light. However, looking at this fella, Yang Hongwu was shocked. This fella was probably stronger than Guan Tiantao. Even though they were both invincible martial monarchs, there was still a huge gap between them. Guan Tiantao was the weakest among the invincible great emperors, while Guanling was a veteran invincible great emperor. His strength was much stronger than Guan Tiantao's. What's the background of this Guanling? Yang Hongwu asked when he saw Xian Ming's shocked expression. Guanling is a super expert of the Guan clan. He's an old ancestor. His cultivation is an invincible great emperor. However, he's not good at fighting. He's good at divination. His divination technique is unparalleled. There are few people in the 9 heavens and 10 earths that he can't divine. Xian Ming said. This time, this old fella actually came out personally. I'm afraid things are going to be troublesome. If he's not confident, this old fella will not take action. Divination technique? When Yang Hongwu heard this, he understood why this old thing had attacked him back then. So this was the reason. Open the formation. Don't make me take action. Guanling looked at Yang Hongwu and the others and said arrogantly. This made Yang Hongwu very unhappy. Old fella, it's you. Little fella, you were lucky. If it wasn't for the Morning Soul Emperor, you would have died a long time ago. Looking at Yang Hongwu, Guanling said coldly, Now that I've allowed you to live for so many more years, you should be content. Haha, old man, you couldn't kill me back then. Now my strength has reached the peak of the Great Sage Realm. I'm only one step away from becoming a Great Emperor Realm expert. Moreover, I also control the Tianyi Immortal Mansion and can mobilize the power of the entire Tianyi Immortal Mansion. Bang! With a loud bang, the seal of the array formation was broken. Guanling and the others appeared not far from Yang Hongwu. Little bastard, you sure talk big. I would like to see who can save you today. Let me tell you, if I, Guanling, want to kill someone, no one can stop me. Guanling said coldly, If you know what's good for you, I can leave your corpse intact, and I can also let your women go. Wow, a toad yawning. How arrogant. Today, let me see how powerful you are, Great Emperor Guanling. Yang Hongwu snorted coldly. his surging spiritual power condensed like a supreme, true god. Above the void above his head, incomparably powerful divine dragons appeared. These 9 divine dragons corresponded to the 9 dragon souls in the dragon soul obtained by Yang Hongwu. These 9 dragon souls were the existence of the ancient true dragons. Although they had lost their souls and consciousness and were integrated into the dragon pearl, they were refined by Yang Hongwu and turned into his battle physique vision. However, this battle physique vision was still very terrifying. For the dragons, these 9 dragon souls were a great pressure. Each of them was a supreme existence among the dragons. Their bloodline power was even more powerful than the Dragon Emperor in the Dragon Realm. 9 dragons' sacred body opened for me. After the sacred body was activated, the 9 dragon souls fused together with the terrifying bloodline power that erupted from Yang Hongwu's body, forming a powerful and domineering armor that protected Yang Hongwu's body. Mysterious Dragon 9 transformations. Open. Battle spirit possession. Yang Hongwu roared and unleashed all of his power. Ing Xiao Rui's strength had increased tremendously. Back in the true god territory, the one who had benefited the most wasn't Yang Hongwu, but Ing Xiao Rui. Ing Xiao Rui had obtained a majestic power, which was the power of a true god. It was the power of the true god left behind by Heavenly King Zhou. After obtaining the power of the true god, Ing Xiao Rui's strength had made a huge breakthrough and fell into a deep sleep. Ing Xiao Rui had just woken up not long ago. After waking up, Ing Xiao Rui's strength had increased tremendously. Although she hadn't reached the true god realm, she had reached the level of an invincible great emperor. Now, Yang Hongwu's physical body had also reached a very strong level. At this level, Yang Hongwu's physical body could withstand even more power. Therefore, although Ing Xiao Rui's cultivation had reached the level of an invincible great emperor and Yang Hongwu's battle spirit possession, her physical body could still withstand the power. In this way, Yang Hongwu's strength had increased tremendously, reaching a very powerful level. With the invincible great emperor realm Yang Hongwu, coupled with the 9 dragons, sacred body, and mysterious Dragon 9 transformations, his combat strength wasn't something that an ordinary invincible great emperor could withstand. He was definitely an invincible existence under the invincible great emperor realm. It wouldn't be an exaggeration to call him the invincible god of war. How is this possible? Seeing Yang Hongwu's cultivation suddenly increase, breaking through the shackles of the invincible great emperor realm, he was extremely shocked. He couldn't believe it. How could a mere great sage realm warrior break through to the invincible great emperor realm in such a short time? Even if he used a secret technique, it shouldn't be possible for him to become so powerful and terrifying. This increase in strength was simply too terrifying. Nothing is impossible. Guanling, today, I'll kill you to avenge the day you try to kill me. Yang Hongwu raised both of his hands, and a golden battle saber appeared in his hands. 9 divine dragons roared on the battle saber. 9 dragons slay gods. With a roar, the saber slashed out. 9 divine dragons broke through the sky, their roars reverberating between heaven and earth. A terrifying aura shrouded the entire heaven and earth. The power of the saber was terrifying, as if it came from the immemorial divine wilderness. The power of the saber was unparalleled. Even a Tai true God realm expert would have to avoid this saber. Damn it! Guanling's face changed drastically when he realized the power of the saber. However, he was an invincible great emperor after all, an old antique who had cultivated for countless years and had rich combat experience. Although he was shocked by Yang Hongwu's strength, he still had a way to deal with it. Chapter 1040. Tianyi Divine Guard. So what if you can predict the future? Yang Hongwu snorted coldly. In the face of absolute power, everything was just empty talk. Yang Hongwu had unleashed a powerful attack. Without using the life seal, this was Yang Hongwu's most powerful attack. Yang Hongwu had great confidence in this attack. Even if Guanling could withstand this attack, it wouldn't be easy for him. Even if he couldn't seriously injure him, he would definitely be injured. Guanling wouldn't be able to counterattack in a short period of time. Heaven's secret guide, Guanling shouted. A ray of light erupted from his hand. It was like a long red whip, shining towards Yang Hongwu's terrifying attack. This long whip didn't have any terrifying lethality. However, Yang Hongwu could feel the meaning of Tai Chi from this long whip. It had the effect of using 4 tails to deflect 1,000 caddies. However, Yang Hongwu's blade technique was too powerful. Even if Guanling had such a powerful secret technique, he couldn't counter Yang Hongwu's attack. However, he was still able to dissipate some of the force. However, it was still limited. Although a part of Yang Hongwu's terrifying attack was dissipated, there was still a huge force that bombarded Guanling's body. Guanling's body was instantly blasted away. A terrifying crack appeared on the ground. It even broke the void. This was the Tianyi Immortal Mansion. It was supported by the powerful power of law. The Tianyi Immortal Mansion itself was a lower-grade true treasure. It was extremely powerful. Yang Hongwu's blade actually broke the void in this Tianyi Immortal Mansion. This showed how powerful this blade was. Guanling's body flew out and crashed into the ground. A deep crater appeared on the ground. In the next moment, he flew out in a sorry state. His clothes were ragged, as if he was a beggar. His chest was stained with blood. Even his bones were clearly visible in the huge wound. Guanling's muscles were constantly wriggling, as if there were worms. This was Guanling mobilizing his mana to heal the wound. However, how could the power of Yang Hongwu's blade be so simple? It was impossible for them to heal. They had to first neutralize the power of Yang Hongwu. However, Guanling was unable to do so in a short period of time. Moreover, with Yang Hongwu glaring at him like a tiger watching its prey, how could he be at ease to neutralize that power? Guanling, it's time for you to die. Yang Hongwu wouldn't let him off so easily. As the saying goes, it's better to chase after a cornered enemy with courage than to learn from an overlord for the sake of fame. Yang Hongwu wouldn't be so foolish as to give up such a great opportunity. A terrifying killing intent burst out from his eyes. He raised his right hand, and a vast and majestic power filled the entire Tianyi Immortal Mansion. This was the power of the Tianyi Immortal Mansion. Yang Hongwu's strength increased greatly in an instant. Seeing this scene, Guanling's expression changed greatly. He never thought that Yang Hongwu's strength would reach such a terrifying level. Moreover, he could actually mobilize the power of the entire Tianyi Immortal Mansion. Tianyi Immortal Token. At this moment, a token appeared in Guanling's hand. This token floated in the void, and 2 huge ancient characters appeared. These ancient characters were the 2 words Tianyi, Tianyi Immortal Token. Seeing this token, the Tianyi Immortal Mansion's leader's expression changed. Yang Hongwu, don't mobilize the power of the Tianyi Immortal Mansion. This Tianyi Immortal Token was left behind by the Tianyi Great Emperor in order to keep the leader in check. It can shackle the power of the Tianyi Immortal Mansion. After saying that, the leader angrily said to Guanling, "You actually disobeyed the ancestral teachings and casually took out the Tianyi Immortal Token. This is simply disgraceful. As the leader of the Tianyi Immortal Mansion, you actually disobeyed the edict of the upper realm. You are the one who has committed the most heinous crime. Moreover, you actually gave him the source energy of the leader of the Tianyi Immortal Mansion. This is a violation of the edict of the Tianyi Immortal Token. Do you know that?" Guanling coldly snorted. "Seal the Tianyi Immortal Token. Where are the Tianyi Divine Guards?" Rumble. With a loud sound, something terrifying seemed to have been activated in the depths of the Tianyi Immortal Mansion. 2 terrifying giants appeared. These 2 terrifying giants possessed terrifying strength. They were 2 terrifying puppets. These 2 terrifying puppets possessed ferocious strength. Their auras drew upon the power of heaven and earth as if they could destroy everything. These were the greatest trump cards of the Tianyi Immortal Mansion. They were the guards of the Tianyi Immortal Mansion. The Tianyi Great Emperor had once left behind an ancestral teaching. Unless the Tianyi Immortal Mansion faced a calamity of destruction, the Tianyi Divine Guards absolutely could not be used. What they didn't expect was that Guan Ling and the others would be so impudent. Not only did they take out the Tianyi Immortal Token, they even summoned the Tianyi Divine Guards to deal with Yang Hongwu. This was simply deranged. If they were used by others, the Tianyi Immortal Mansion might suffer a calamity of destruction. The leader of the Tianyi Immortal Mansion was furious. If he was strong enough, he would have already eaten Guan Ling and the others alive. Killed them. Guan Ling pointed his finger at Yang Hongwu and the others. The two Tianyi Divine Guards moved. When the two giants moved, the earth quaked and the mountains shook. It was as if there was a great earthquake. Heaven and earth seemed to be on the verge of shattering. This showed how terrifying the strength of the Tianyi Divine Guards was. One should know that this was the Tianyi Immortal Mansion. There were law, power, and formation restrictions all around. Even an invincible great emperor would have a hard time destroying some of the buildings here. However, the ground was like mud and tofu under the feet of the two Tianyi Divine Guards. It was easily crushed. Yang Hongwu's face was solemn. He didn't expect the Tianyi Divine Guards to be so domineering and powerful. Their physical strength had probably reached the peak of the invincible Great Emperor realm. If they unleashed their full strength, they could even fight against several invincible Great Emperors. Most importantly, these Tianyi Divine Guards were immortal. They weren't afraid of death or pain. When they fought, they didn't have any scruples and didn't know fatigue. They were terrifying killing machines. Even though Yang Hongwu had obtained a great opportunity in the common people's divine realm and his strength had improved greatly in the 18 levels of prison, he was still very angry and worried when he encountered such a situation. Yang Hongwu, be careful. The Tianyi Divine Guards are incomparably powerful. They are invulnerable to swords and spears, invulnerable to water and fire. We can't fight them head-on. We can only think of a way to seize the Tianyi Immortal Token and then control the Tianyi Divine Guards. The leader of the Tianyi Immortal Mansion knew that the situation was serious and urgent, so he hurriedly shouted. Yang Hongwu was about to answer when a part of the Tianyi Divine Guard's origin power that hadn't been completely refined in his body moved. Images appeared in Yang Hongwu's mind. These were the information about the Tianyi Immortal Token and the Tianyi Divine Guards. Chapter 1041. The situation reversed. Yang Hongwu formed a series of mysterious seals with both hands. The seals turned into spiritual light and entered the glabella of the Tianyi Divine Guard. Yang Hongwu instantly established a mysterious connection with the two Tianyi Divine Guards. Seeing that the huge fist of the Tianyi Divine Guard was about to hit Yang Hongwu, the girls were extremely worried. Guan Ling sneered as if he could see Yang Hongwu being smashed into meat paste. However, what happened next was very surprising. Stop! At Yang Hongwu's command, the two gigantic Divine Guards immediately stopped moving. Seeing this, Guan Ling and the others were dumbfounded. Even Xian Ming and the others were shocked. It stopped. It really stopped. He can actually control the Tianyi Divine Guards? Tian Mei murmured. How is this possible? Without the Tianyi Immortal Token, how can he control the Tianyi Divine Guards? The leader of the Tianyi Divine Guards muttered to himself, unable to believe what he was seeing. As the leader of the Tianyi Divine Guards, he naturally knew what they were. According to the records, the Tianyi Divine Guards could only be activated with the Tianyi Immortal Token. The Tianyi Immortal Token was the core of the Tianyi Divine Guards. Only the Tianyi Immortal Token could control the Tianyi Divine Guards. The scene before their eyes was simply unbelievable. Could it be that the Tianyi Immortal Token was fake? The real Tianyi Immortal Token was in the 18th level of prison, and Yang Hongwu had obtained it. However, on second thought, this was impossible. If the Tianyi Immortal Token in Guan Ling's hand was fake, then how could he summon the Tianyi Divine Guards? And how could he control the two Tianyi Divine Guards? If he didn't have the Tianyi Immortal Token, how could Yang Hongwu control the Tianyi Divine Guards? Or could it be that there were two Tianyi Immortal Tokens? That wasn't right either. There was only one Tianyi Immortal Token. This was clearly recorded, and everyone knew. It didn't make sense. It didn't make sense at all. While the Tianyi leader was still confused, Yang Hongwu commanded the Tianyi Divine Guards to attack Guan Ling and the others. Guanling had already been injured by Yang Hongwu. Now that he saw that Yang Hongwu could still command the Tianyi Divine Guards, he was both shocked and furious. He was only able to command the Tianyi Divine Guards because he had the Tianyi Immortal Token. Yang Hongwu was able to command the Tianyi Divine Guards without the Tianyi Immortal Token. How could he not be shocked? How could he not feel scared? If he couldn't control the Tianyi Divine Guards, but Yang Hongwu could, then things would be troublesome. He was no match for Yang Hongwu in terms of strength. If the Tianyi Divine Guard were taken away by Yang Hongwu, the only thing left for them was death. He didn't want to die. He had come here for revenge. He wanted to kill Yang Hongwu. Otherwise, not only would he die, but the entire Guan family would be destroyed by Yang Hongwu. This was also why Guanling had spent so much effort to break through the void, disregarding the restrictions of the laws of heaven and earth, and paying a huge price to kill Yang Hongwu. However, he had failed at the last step. This time, he encountered the same thing. Even his final trump card, the Tianyi Divine Guards, couldn't kill Yang Hongwu. This made him furious. He also felt a trace of regret in his heart. Could it be that this little bastard was really the child of destiny favored by the heavenly Tao? Was he the only tribulation taker in the world? No, this wasn't right. There shouldn't be only one tribulation taker. There should be many people with great fortune in the world, but there would always be only one person who would truly become the child of destiny of the great Tao of heaven and earth. After he had killed all the candidates for the child of destiny, all the people with great fortune who could compete with him, and deprive them of their fortune, he would become the true child of destiny and withstand the great tribulation of heaven and earth. For any person, any genius, once they fell, they would no longer be the true child of destiny. A dead genius was nothing. Now, he couldn't kill Yang Hongwu. Every time, there was a great disparity in strength. Even though he had full confidence, he still couldn't kill him. Could it be that his fortune was too bad? Because he wanted to kill Yang Hongwu, he suffered a backlash from his fortune? Guanling had the supreme power of divination. He could predict the past and the future, but that was only for some people. For people like him, who inherited the power of divination, he believed very much in the concept of fortune. Back then, when he predicted that a great calamity would befall him and the Guan clan, he had predicted that the person who would bring calamity to the Guan clan would most likely be Yang Hongwu. That was why he had crossed 2 planes to kill Yang Hongwu in the heaven domain. However, he didn't expect that he would fail. The Morning Soul Emperor didn't care about offending an invincible great emperor and blocked his attack. That was why he failed and Yang Hongwu survived. That led to the current situation. Therefore, this time, he had no choice but to take the risk again. He even took out the Tianyi Immortal Order in order to kill Yang Hongwu here. However, man proposes, God disposes. The Tianyi Divine Guards summoned by the Tianyi Immortal Order obeyed Yang Hongwu's command and didn't kill him. This made him extremely depressed. Tianyi Immortal Order, stop! He shouted softly in an attempt to stop the 2 Tianyi Divine Guards, but to no avail. Damn it, Tianyi Immortal Order seal. Guanling kept using the Tianyi Immortal Order, trying to stop Yang Hongwu and the Tianyi Divine Guard from making another move. However, it was all in vain. The Tianyi Immortal Order seemed to have lost its effect. The Tianyi Divine Guards couldn't be controlled at all. This is impossible. This is absolutely impossible. Haha, nothing is impossible. Your Tianyi Immortal Order must be fake. Haha, I finally understand the old ancestors' plan. The Tianyi Immortal Order must be fake. At this time, the Tianyi leader laughed loudly. He was very happy to see Guanling in such a state. You traitors under the banner of the old ancestor, you have received your retribution. Oh, the old ancestor, please bless us. Damn it, you must die. Guanling was very angry. He threw the Tianyi Immortal Order out. Yang Hongwu's eyes lit up. With a flash, he activated the secret technique of void travel and appeared in front of the Tianyi Immortal Order in an instant. He took it in his hand. When the Tianyi Immortal Order fell into Yang Hongwu's hand, it instantly turned into a ray of light and entered his body. Yang Hongwu's heart trembled. This Tianyi Immortal Order was actually one of the cores of the Tianyi Immortal Mansion. It also contained a vast amount of origin energy. Yang Hongwu realized that after obtaining the Qianni Immortal Order, he had established a connection with the Qianni Immortal Mansion in the Qingyun domain. At this time, he had truly obtained the inheritance of the Qianni Immortal Mansion, the entire Qianni Immortal Mansion. Chapter 1042. Saber Dao Genius You. Seeing the change in Yang Hongwu after he obtained the Qianni Immortal Token, Guanling was so angry that he vomited blood. His face turned pale. He had never thought that things would turn out like this. This Qianni Immortal Order was actually real. It was useless in his hands, but in Yang Hongwu's hands, it had undergone such a huge change. Damn Qianni Immortal Order. Damn Qianni Great Emperor. He cursed loudly, but his complexion became even worse, and his breathing became chaotic. It was obvious that he was quite angry, and his injuries had worsened. Big brother, are you all right? A man beside Guanling looked anxious. He was Guan Shani, Guanling's younger brother. Although he was not as strong as Guanling, he was still very strong. The secret technique he cultivated was the infinite blade technique. This infinite blade technique was a set of blade technique that was extremely difficult to cultivate in the Guan clan. Guan Shani had just successfully cultivated this set of blade technique and had already cultivated a trace of the Blade Dao principle. He was currently the most promising cultivator in the Guan clan to break through the primordial true God realm. He had always been the trump card of the Guan clan. This time, he had followed Guanling out to seize Yang Hongwu's luck and use Yang Hongwu's boundless luck to break through the shackles of the invincible great sovereign realm and enter the primordial true God realm. All of this was part of Guanling's plan from the very beginning. He thought it was foolproof, but he did not expect such an accident to happen. It seemed that Yang Hongwu's luck was too strong and was protected by the heavenly way. Or perhaps they did not have enough luck and luck to shake Yang Hongwu's strong luck. Guanling was very clear that it would be difficult to kill some people with great luck if they did not have enough luck and a strong foundation. Or perhaps it would be impossible to kill them. Even if they were lucky enough to kill them, they would definitely suffer from the backlash of the luck and suffer great damage. There would be no benefits at all. He originally thought that with his brother Guanshani's luck, he would definitely be able to benefit from it. After all, he had already comprehended the Saber Dao Dharma. Although it was only a trace, it meant that he had the chance to become an expert of the primordial true God realm. This meant that his luck was extremely strong. In the entire history of the Guan family, he was the most outstanding. I'm fine. Guanling waved his hand and forced himself to stand up. Big brother, I'm going to kill this little bastard and avenge you. As he spoke, Guan Shani instantly pulled out his treasured saber. Instantly, a sky-piercing saber essence erupted, and all the treasured sabers in the Qianni Immortal Mansion became restless. Even the Hongmeng saber in Yang Hongwu's hand was buzzing. The other treasured sabers had the intention to submit, but the treasured saber in Yang Hongwu's hand was filled with a strong fighting spirit, as if it was excited to meet a strong opponent. The treasured saber in Guan Shani's hand reminded Yang Hongwu of a person. It was Guan Yu, martial sage Guan Yu, from the history of the three kingdoms on earth. The green dragon crescent blade. This battle saber was exactly the same as the green dragon crescent blade. However, Guan Shani's strength was probably much stronger than martial sage Guan Yu's strength. After all, this guy was an invincible great emperor. No matter how strong martial sage Guan Yu was, it was impossible for him to be as powerful as Guan Yu. However, thinking about it, Pan and I, Pan Gu, and the others could incarnate themselves to train in the untainted three realms. Why couldn't Guan Yu do the same? Perhaps this guy was somehow related to Guan Yu? The Guan family. After all, the Guan family had the same surname as Guan Yu. Thinking of this, Yang Hongwu couldn't help but laugh. Why did he think so much? So what if he was related to Guan Yu? Anyway, these people were his enemies. The entire Guan family was his enemy. He couldn't spare Guan Shani's life just because his battle saber was similar to martial sage Guan Yu's green dragon crescent blade. An enemy would always be an enemy. Yang Hongwu would never show mercy to his enemies. There were only 3 words for him, and that was kill without mercy. This is Tao, the law of Saber Tao. He actually comprehended a trace of the law of Saber Tao. Xian Ming was shocked. Tian Mei was also shocked to the extreme. So what if it's the law of Saber Tao? Yang Hongwu sneered. In fact, he had also comprehended a trace of the power of Tao. However, his Tao was different, and he couldn't show it easily. That was his trump card. Although he had comprehended a trace of the Tao, he couldn't display it easily. Saber Tao was just a minor Tao in Yang Hongwu's eyes. There were major Taos and minor Taos. Of course, the sword Tao and saber Tao that ordinary people comprehended were all minor Taos. There were also major Taos like saber Tao, but ordinary people couldn't comprehend them. Every Tao was divided into major Taos and minor Taos. How difficult was it to comprehend a major Tao? In the 9 heavens, 10 earths, ordinary people couldn't comprehend a major Tao due to the restriction of the law. They could only comprehend minor Taos. The 9 heavens, 10 earths was too small to accommodate the power of the great Tao. Without the power of the great Tao and the law of the great Tao, how could one comprehend a major Tao? In front of absolute power, everything is just empty talk. Yang Hongwu only knew one thing. Saber Tao and sword Tao were all fake. In this world, the most powerful thing wasn't these, but power. Only power was everything. Of course, there was also life. Without the power of life, there was nothing. Therefore, life and power were the most fundamental things. Unless the so-called Saber Tao and Sword Tao that one had comprehended had reached the point where one could give up life and power. In the Great Thousand World, the most powerful Tao was the Tao of power and the Tao of life. Even the Time Tao, Space Tao, and Space-Time Tao were ranked behind. These were still too far away for Yang Hongwu. However, Yang Hongwu knew that power was the foundation of everything. In the face of absolute power, everything else was just empty talk. Although Guan Shani was powerful and was in the invincible Great Emperor realm and had comprehended a bit of Saber Tao, the two Tianyi Divine Guards were strong and invulnerable. Unless one's strength reached the limit and could break through the origin of the two Tianyi Divine Guards and break through their defense, it was impossible to win. Therefore, Yang Hongwu wasn't afraid of Guan Shani and wasn't worried at all. Tianyi Divine Guards, kill. Chapter 1043. Zetian reappears, saber rends the void. Seeing the two Tianyi Divine Guards charging at him in a ferocious and overbearing manner, Guan Shani bellowed furiously. He raised the saber with both hands and swung it. This was Guan Shani's most powerful saber move. It was infused with a trace of Tao law. This was the power of Tao rhymes. The terrifying saber chi formed by the Tao law was so powerful that even the void couldn't withstand this savage power and was about to be torn apart by this powerful saber chi. However, although this saber chi was savage and overbearing, the two Tianyi Divine Guards were too powerful. It could be said that these two Tianyi Divine Guards were unparalleled in the ancient region. Although Guan Shani was powerful, the gap between him and a primordial true celestial realm expert was too great. Therefore, he couldn't withstand this powerful attack. When a huge saber light slashed the two Tianyi Divine Guards, it emitted an intense radiance. Terrifying shockwaves burst out, shattering the gravel and trees. A layer of the ground was swept up as if it had been attacked by some terrifying force. On the ground, huge saber scars extended in all directions like spiderwebs. Near the center of the Tianyi Divine Guard was a huge pit. The fact that it could cause such a terrible destruction on the solid ground was enough to prove how powerful and overbearing this saber move was. Even though Guan Shani's saber move was so powerful and overbearing, it still couldn't defeat the Tianyi Divine Guards. The Tianyi Divine Guards were only pushed back. The saber move didn't break through the Tianyi Divine Guard defenses and didn't cause any great damage to them. Guan Shani's expression changed drastically when he saw the Tianyi Divine Guards walking towards him. He quickly retreated. However, he had consumed a lot of his energy. How could his speed be faster than the Tianyi Divine Guards? Boom! With a loud bang, the Tianyi Divine Guard's violent attack was like a magnificent army of thousands of men and horses. It was also like the descent of divine thunder from the ninth heaven. The continuous attacks were violent and ferocious, destroying everything in their path. As soon as Guan Shan was attacked by this tyrannical power, his body was sent flying like a kite with a broken string. Bam! With a loud bang, Guan Shani's body landed in front of Guan Ling. His body twitched, and he spat out a mouthful of blood. With that, Guan Shani was seriously injured. Yang Hongwu and the others were astonished to see this. The Tianyi Divine Guards were indeed very powerful and domineering. They did not expect Guan Shani to be so vulnerable before the Tianyi Divine Guards. Yang Hongwu was overjoyed. Now that he could mobilize the Tianyi Divine Guards, he would have another trump card to deal with the ZT on. Yang Hongwu, stop! Guan Ling shouted when he saw that the Tianyi Divine Guards did not hesitate and were about to launch another attack to kill Guan Shani. It's impossible for me to stop. Yang Hongwu snorted coldly. You are my enemies. All of you must die. The entire Guan family must die. Yang Hongwu would not leave any hidden dangers for himself. Since Guan Ling wanted to kill him, what reason did he have to let the Guan family continue to exist? I won't give you any chance to make a comeback. Yang Hongwu added. Yang Hongwu, you should know that the Tianyi Divine Guards have a limit. When I entered the ancient domain, I sensed a monstrous demonic aura. This demonic aura should belong to a peerless demon whose strength is even above that of an invincible great emperor. It might even break through to the primordial true demon realm. You should send these 2 Tianyi Divine Guards to deal with that terrifying demon. Otherwise, because of you, the Tianyi Divine Guard strength will be depleted. When that time comes, we will die and so will you, Guan Ling said. Demon, a peerless demon. So what? Could it be that only you are allowed to mobilize the Tianyi Divine Guards to kill me, but I'm not allowed to use them to kill you? What a joke. Besides, even if the ancient domain is completely destroyed by that so-called demon, so what? I don't care. I only care about my women, my family, and friends. Once the demon is born, I only need to keep them in my inner world. Then, I will open the passage to the true God domain and go there. Yang Hongwu said coldly. No matter what, the people of the Guan family had to be killed. You are disregarding righteousness. You are committing an extremely heinous crime. You are disregarding the world. Do you know that? At that moment, Guan Ling shouted loudly. What righteousness? I don't know. I only know that since you want to kill me, I will kill you too. Those who kill will be killed by others. This is a matter of course. I have never provoked you. You even broke through the void and wanted to kill me when I was just a small martial artist who hadn't even reached the venerable realm. Isn't this hatred big enough? Yang Hongwu snorted coldly. I have always repaid kindness with kindness and revenge with revenge. The deep hatred between you and me will be settled today. Having said that, Yang Hongwu shifted his mind and the Tianyi Divine Guards moved. A vast amount of energy gathered on the arms of the 2 Divine Guards, and a terrifying aura burst out. This aura was definitely much stronger than the attack of a peak level Great Emperor. Ordinary people would not be able to withstand it. It's over. Guan Shani closed his eyes. He was well aware of the Tianyi Divine Guard strength. Even his most powerful strike had not been able to harm the Tianyi Divine Guard. Now that his brother Guan Ling was heavily injured, how could he withstand the attack? At this moment, Guan Ling had begun to burn his soul. He was ready to use a secret technique to escape. At this moment, a terrifying force broke through the void and arrived. It was an extremely evil energy. It was filled with supreme demonic energy. It broke through the void and hit the 2 Tianyi Divine Guards. The 2 powerful and invincible Tianyi Divine Guards were forced to retreat. This sudden turn of events left everyone dumbfounded. Yang Hongwu's face darkened. Yang Hongwu felt a familiar aura from this energy. Zitian, it's you. Yang Hongwu's mind was suddenly shaken. A sharp light burst out from his eyes as he stared straight ahead. As soon as Yang Hongwu's voice fell, the space in front of him squirmed. Soon, a figure appeared in Yang Hongwu's sight. This figure was wearing a black robe. His face was pale, but his eyes were deep and filled with supreme demonic energy. He exuded a terrifying aura that made people feel uncomfortable. Chapter 1044. Arrogance. Zetian, you dare to come here today. Aren't you afraid that I'll kill you? Yang Hongwu looked at Zetian and said coldly. Zetian's strength was getting stronger and stronger. He could actually withstand the attack of the Tianyi Divine Guard. This really shocked Yang Hongwu. One should know that the Tianyi Divine Guard was very strong. Even Yang Hongwu himself was not confident that he could withstand it unless he used the life seal. If he didn't use the life seal, he would be seriously injured. When Zetian received the attack, he was so relaxed as if he didn't use his full strength. From this, one could see how terrifying Zetian's strength was. Haha, Yang Hongwu, are you afraid? Zetian looked at Yang Hongwu and was very happy. After fighting with Yang Hongwu for so many years, he rarely had the upper hand. Even though his strength had skyrocketed and he had the chance to crush an invincible great emperor, he dared not let his guard down. Therefore, this time, he didn't come with his true body. His true body was still in the midst of cultivation. This was just his incarnation. But even so, this incarnation of his was strong enough to kill an invincible great emperor expert. This showed that his strength had reached a very ferocious level. I'm afraid. Yang Hongwu snorted coldly. You're just a defeated opponent. Moreover, are you still Zetian now? Of course, I'm Zetian. But Yang Hongwu, if that's all you've got, then I'm very disappointed. You've always been my most important enemy. If you're too weak, then it's boring. Zetian laughed. Also, don't give me a chance. Otherwise, none of your women will be able to escape from my hands. Yang Hongwu's eyes shot out a terrifying cold light. Zetian, since you're here, then stay here. Yang Hongwu waved his right hand. Tianyi Divine Guard, go. Kill him. An order was passed down. The Tianyi Divine Guards moved. Both of them unleashed a terrifying power and attacked Zetian. The power was so strong that it seemed as if it could shatter the world. Haha, good timing. Let me see how strong the Tianyi Divine Guards of the Tianyi Immortal Mansion are. Zetian laughed wildly. A gigantic palm condensed in the void, covering the sky. The might of this palm was incomparably terrifying. It was as though the entire world was about to be covered. The entire Tianyi Immortal Abode seemed to be shrouded in this terrifying space. Heaven-covering palm. Yang Hongwu's eyes emitted a cold light. What a great heaven-covering palm. The huge palm collided with the two Tianyi Divine Guards, and the two Tianyi Divine Guards were forced to retreat. The strength of the palm was so strong. Yang Hongwu had to admit that Zetian's strength had now reached a very terrifying level. If he did not break through, he was afraid that there was no way to deal with Zetian. It seemed that there was not enough time. He had to go to the ancient wilderness as soon as possible, find the origin energy of Jiutian Shidi, and refine it. Otherwise, he would not have a good ending. The heavenly Tao of Jiutian Shidi was also very abominable. In order to deal with him, not only did it not stop Zetian, but also allowed Zetian's strength to increase rapidly. Yang Hongwu was depressed. Without the support of the heavenly Tao, it would be impossible for Zetian to grow so quickly. Although his cultivation speed was also very fast compared to Zetian, there was really a big gap. Now, Zetian's true cultivation realm had reached the invincible Great Emperor realm. In fact, he could even break through the Tai True Demon realm in the future. Now, he was still at the peak of the Great Sage realm. It was impossible for him to enter the Great Emperor realm. If there was no suppression from the heavenly Tao, he should be able to enter the Great Emperor realm now. However, it was useless to think about this now. The most important thing was to increase his cultivation. Fortunately, he had obtained a formation that could shield him from the heavenly Tao. Otherwise, he did not know when he would be able to break through. However, there was still a gap in his formation Tao. He had to improve it as soon as possible. However, there was no time for him to study the formation Tao and improve his formation Tao. Therefore, he could only search for the origin of the 9 heavens and 10 earths and study the Tao of formations. He hoped that he could make a breakthrough in the Tao of formations before he found the origin of the 9 heavens and 10 earths. In the distance, Zetian's strength was ferocious. Each of his moves contained a terrifying destructive power. Wherever the supreme demonic power went, everything was corroded and turned into nothingness. The destructive power was so amazing that several weaker warriors were turned into blood after being contaminated by the demonic aura. It was enough to show the horror of the demonic aura. Those people saw this scene and retreated. Yang Hongwu frowned as he looked at Zetian fighting against the two Tianyi divine guards. Zetian was actually gaining the upper hand. This was not a good sign. If this continued, the entire Tianyi immortal abode would be destroyed. Demon slaying finger, demon slaying. Yang Hongwu roared. Golden spiritual power condensed on his finger and burst out with a strong light. This golden light seemed to illuminate the whole world. The huge golden finger crushed towards Zetian. This was the demon-slaying finger. Although it was not Yang Hongwu's strongest attack, it had a great suppression on Zetian's demonic aura. True demonic seal. Zetian's eyes shot out an ominous glint. He raised both his hands and condensed a huge demonic seal. This demonic seal was blood-red in color and was filled with a terrifying destructive force. Some of the weaker people felt a splitting headache when they saw this demonic seal. They felt as if their minds were about to be destroyed. This true demonic seal was so ferocious that even Yang Hongwu felt uneasy and almost got sucked in. The weaker warriors vomited blood and died one by one. Ferocious, so ferocious. Zetian's strength was simply too ferocious. Yang Hongwu's face was extremely solemn. Zetian had not broken through to the true Tai, true demon realm. If he really broke through, what would happen? Would anyone be able to resist him? No, it was impossible. At that time, he would only need a glance to make everyone lose their fighting strength and even die. Therefore, Zetian must not be allowed to break through. Otherwise, everything would be over. Jiuqian Shidi would be completely destroyed. At this moment, Yang Hongwu felt something in his body start to vibrate. Yang Hongwu was shocked. This was the Haoyan demon slaying seal. Chapter 1045. Retreating in defeat as soon as the seal appeared, it possessed a power that could rival Zetian's. The two powers clashed against each other, but they were evenly matched. Yang Hongwu's face turned solemn. If it wasn't for the Tianyi divine guards, Yang Hongwu would have had no choice but to use the life seal. He didn't expect the Haoyan demon suppression seal to be so strong that it could resist Zetian's demonic power. This was a pleasant surprise. I didn't expect this thing to fall into your hands. Zetian narrowed his eyes. However, this isn't enough. Although I'm just a clone, it's enough to deal with you. The Tianyi immortal abode has the Tianyi divine guards, and so does my Tai Xianfu. Zetian's aura underwent a huge change. It went from a demonic aura to an immortal aura, as if a god had descended. This sudden change left everyone dumbfounded. How is this possible? Yang Hongwu's eyes widened. The demonic aura on Zetian's body had suddenly dissipated. This didn't make sense. Even if he transferred the demonic aura to his main body, it shouldn't have been so fast. Unless his main body was nearby. If that was the case, then it was really terrifying. One of Zetian's incarnations was already so formidable. Then when his main body appeared, what extent would it reach? With his current strength, even if he used a life seal, he probably wouldn't be able to contend against him. Just as Yang Hongwu's imagination was running wild, Zetian waved his hand, and a huge force tore open the void. Following that, two towering giants appeared. These two giants were as strong as the Tianyi divine guards and were extremely powerful. Tai divine guards. The Tianyi leader's face changed. I didn't expect Zetian to control the Tai divine guards. It seems like the Tai Xianfu has fallen into Zetian's hands. The Tai Xianfu, the Tianyi immortal abode, the Kunlun immortal abode, and the Sea God immortal abode were the four great immortal abodes. Each of them held a huge secret. If he could truly control the four immortal mansions, he would obtain a huge benefit. This benefit was something that even the founders of the four immortal mansions had not grasped. If anyone could truly grasp this secret, their strength would reach an unimaginable level. Of course, Not many people knew this secret, and Yang Hongwu was one of them. As for whether Zetian knew it or not, nobody knew. Yang Hongwu guessed that Zetian didn't know about it yet. If she did, Zetian would have already taken action. After all, Zetian's strength was no longer the same as before. Even if the other three immortal mansions joined forces, they might not be able to withstand his attacks. Of course, it was also possible that Zetian's original body was at a critical moment in his cultivation and did not have the energy to do these things. Seeing that everyone was so worried, Yang Hongwu smiled and said, "Don't worry. The Tai Divine Guards may be very strong, but don't forget where you are. This is the Tianyi Immortal Abode. In the Tianyi Immortal Abode, I can mobilize the power of the entire Tianyi Immortal Abode. It's enough to suppress 2 Tai Divine Guards." As he said that, Yang Hongwu activated a great formation with the Tianyi Immortal Abode as the center. The formation emitted a blinding glow, encapsulating the area within 100,000 zhang. Zetian's expression changed slightly, and he said, "I didn't expect that you've actually gained control of the Tianyi Immortal Abode. No wonder you're so fearless." Although he knew that Yang Hongwu had most likely gained control of the Tianyi Immortal Abode and became the true leader of the Tianyi Immortal Abode, he didn't think that Yang Hongwu could gain complete control of the Tianyi Immortal Abode so quickly. After all, even with his current strength, it wasn't easy for him to gain complete control of the Tai Xianfu. Although he had obtained the Tai Xianfu, he wasn't like Yang Hongwu, who had truly gained a recognition of the Tianyi Immortal Abode. He could only use the Tianyi Immortal Abode to mobilize a portion of its power. The Tai Divine Guards were only one of them. They were also the greatest force that he could mobilize in the Tai Xianfu. He thought that Yang Hongwu was the same as him. However, he miscalculated. Yang Hongwu had truly obtained the inheritance of the Tianyi Great Emperor. The entire Tianyi Immortal Abode was already under his control. As long as he had enough strength, he could truly unleash the power of the Tianyi Immortal Abode. The Tai Divine Guards were as powerful as the Tianyi Divine Guards. If they were to fight, the Tai Divine Guards and the Tianyi Divine Guards would definitely be neck and neck. Unfortunately, this was the Tianyi Immortal Abode. The Tianyi Divine Guards had an endless supply of power, while the Tai Divine Guards couldn't. In addition, there was the Tianyi Great Formation. How could the Tai Divine Guards be a match for the Tianyi Divine Guards? Therefore, Zetian was in a miserable situation. The appearance of the 2 Tai Divine Guards was astonishing and domineering. However, they couldn't withstand the attacks of the Tianyi Divine Guards and were forced to retreat. "Zetian, stay here." After activating the Tianyi Great Formation, his strength had skyrocketed. Yang Hongwu wouldn't miss such a good opportunity. It would be best if he could keep Zetian here. Even if he couldn't, he had to teach Zetian a lesson. Therefore, Yang Hongwu once again condensed a majestic spiritual power in his hands. "Hao Ian Demon Suppression Seal." Yang Hongwu roared and raised both his hands. His vast spiritual power erupted with golden light, forming a huge seal in the void. This huge seal was the Hao Ian Demon Suppression Seal. The power that erupted this time was even more powerful and terrifying than before. Yang Hongwu's spiritual power had been activated to the extreme. After the huge seal blasted out, another thing appeared above Yang Hongwu's head. It was a pagoda, a golden pagoda. This pagoda flew high into the sky. Demon suppression. Zetian's strength was suppressed. Coupled with the Tianyi Great Formation, it was very disadvantageous for him. If his original body was here, he wouldn't have to worry at all. However, he was only a clone now after all. Moreover, he couldn't borrow the power of his original body. If he used the power of his original body, it might affect his original body's breakthrough. Therefore, Zetian was very annoyed by Yang Hongwu's attack. "Humph!" Zetian snorted and threw out a punch. The fist force contained the supreme destructive power of the demonic Tao. This supreme destructive power of the demonic Tao was enough to destroy everything in the world. If this punch landed on a person, even an invincible great emperor would be seriously injured. An ordinary great emperor would definitely die. However, this powerful force was blocked by Yang Hongwu's golden pagoda. As for the large seal that Yang Hongwu struck out, it smashed heavily towards Zetian. A gigantic demonic bell formed around Zetian's body. This gigantic demonic bell actually blocked this terrifying attack. However, Zetian's body also swayed a little, and his face became somewhat pale. His aura became weak. Yang Hongwu, you're worthy of being my opponent. This time, I'll spare you. When I break through, it'll be your end. Chapter 1046. The two women proposed. He actually ran away. Damn it. Yang Hongwu didn't expect that Zetian would actually run away at this critical moment. Although this wasn't Zetian's real body, it would still cause great damage to his real body if his real body was killed. Although it wouldn't deal a huge blow to Zetian, it would still cause great damage to him. At least, he would have to wait for a while before he could break through. Should he go to Tai Xianfu to look for Zetian now? Yang Hongwu wasn't stupid. Tai Xianfu was now one of Zetian's territories. He wouldn't be able to gain any advantage if he went there. Just like how Zetian came to Tianyi Immortal Mansion, there were also many powerful trump cards in Tai Xianfu. These trump cards are the foundation of Tai Xianfu. Yang Hongwu didn't have enough confidence to deal with them. Moreover, even if he went there, he might not be able to deal with them. That guy finally left. Tian Mei and the others heaved a sigh of relief when they saw Zetian leave. This guy is actually so terrifying now. I'm afraid no one would be able to stop him if he's given some more time. No, there's still one person who can stop him, and that's Yang Hongwu. Xianming shook his head and said, our only hope now is Yang Hongwu. That's right, Hongwu. You have to increase your cultivation as soon as possible. Only you can stop him. Otherwise, the entire Jiutian city will fall under Zetian's devil claws. Zetian has completely turned into a devil. He's a terrifying great devil. Leader Tianyi said, I know, but it won't be easy for me to make a breakthrough in my strength. Yang Hongwu smiled bitterly and shook his head. I'm now at a bottleneck. The key is to break through this bottleneck. I can't break through in this ancient domain. Could it be that I have to enter the heavenly realm to break through? Leader Tianyi frowned and said, if you want to enter heaven domain, you have to be careful. Heaven domain is not ancient domain. There are countless experts there. Although you are very strong, you have too many enemies in heaven domain. There are too many experts there. Once they discover your tracks, it will be very troublesome. That's right. You should think of another way. Right now, ancient domain and heaven domain have already fused quite a bit. After a while, ancient domain and heaven domain will fuse completely. Can't you use the power of heaven domain to break through? Do you really need to go to heaven domain? Said Tian Mei. I can't. Yang Hongwu shook his head. Furthermore, you've misunderstood. I'm not going to the heaven domain. I'm going to the ancient desolate continent. What? You want to go to the ancient desolate continent? Hearing this, everyone's eyes widened. They couldn't believe it. If they couldn't break through in the ancient domain, they couldn't break through in the heaven domain either. If he could really combine 9 women with pure Yin physique, his 9 turns yin-yang harmony art would really break through and enter the level of 9 heavens divine dragon technique. Perhaps he could really break through, and it was even possible that he would not be noticed by the heavens. However, this wasn't 100% certainty. All in all, it still depended on the situation. However, one thing was for sure. If he really did dual cultivation, it would definitely be beneficial to him. His strength would definitely improve. As for how much it would improve, he didn't know. Yang Hongwu nodded and said, it can increase my strength a little. However, as for how much, it will depend on the situation. I also don't know. However, I don't want to take your body just like that. I don't want you to feel wronged. Are you still talking about this at this time? Besides, I don't care. As long as I know that your heart is true to me, that's enough. Bayaran said. Chapter 1047. Teleportation. Tower. Yang Hongwu had not expected that apart from by Iran, Xianming would also say something like that. It really surprised Yang Hongwu. What about me? Don't tell me you don't like me, said Xian Ming coldly. No, that's not what I mean. Then, am I not good enough for you? Said Xian Ming again. Of course not. I'm just too surprised. It's too sudden. Yang Hongwu smiled wryly. Women were always unreasonable. However, what he had just said was too stupid. A woman had said something like that, and he still asked that question. He was obviously stupid. Since that's not the case, why don't you agree? Said Xian Ming. It's not that I don't want to, but I don't want you to be wronged. Yang Hongwu hastily explained. Although it's a little wronged, there's no other way now. You have to compensate us in the future, said Xian Ming. Sister Iran, am I right? Yes, Sister Xian Ming, you're right. Bai Iran nodded. Also, count me in. Tian Mei heard the two women say that, especially Xian Ming. She had agreed to be Yang Hongwu's woman. Of course, she couldn't fall behind. Moreover, Tian Mei knew that Yang Hongwu's body was very special. That was why she had followed Yang Hongwu. If she could dual cultivate with Yang Hongwu, her strength would be further enhanced. More importantly, her blood would be greatly enhanced, and she would reach the level of Charming God. That was the level she had always dreamed of. Once she reached the level of Charming God, she would have the opportunity to reach the level of Primordial True God. Of course, this was only one of the reasons. The other reason was that she had fallen in love with Yang Hongwu. If anything happened to Yang Hongwu, she did not know if she could survive in the future. That's right. Yang Hongwu's physique is special, and you both have the pure Yin physique. If you cultivate with Yang Hongwu's strength will improve greatly. That way, she might be able to break through to the Great Emperor realm. At that time, Yang Hongwu's strength will not be able to defeat Zetian, but she will definitely be able to protect herself. However, before that, we still need to do one more thing, and that is to hold a grand wedding for you and Yang Hongwu. Only then can it be justified. Hearing this, the three women were a little shy. Hearing this, Yang Hongwu sighed in his heart. He had neglected this point. Although Gu Shaoxian and the other women had followed him, he did not give them a real grand wedding. They did not have a real status. It was time for him to make up for it. However, now was not the time. Time was too tight. Hence, he said, we'll talk about this later. I will not let you down, and I will not let you follow me without a proper status. However, I feel that Zetian's strength is about to break through soon. Therefore, I must hurry to the ancient desolate continent and find an opportunity that can help me break through. Otherwise, everything will be too late. We know. How about this? The three of us will go with you. Moreover, we won't be a burden to you. We can enter your inner world to cultivate. If you are in danger, we can help you. Tian Mei said. All right. Looking at the three women's determined eyes, Yang Hongwu nodded. A few hours later, Yang Hongwu and the others appeared in a huge transmission tower. This transmission tower was the transmission tower to enter the ancient desolate continent. When they arrived at the transmission tower, Yang Hongwu and the others' faces changed. These people were all filled with demonic qi. Moreover, they were very strong. Obviously, they were not the people who were originally guarding the transmission tower. Something is wrong with these guys. They are filled with evil energy. I'm afraid they have been demonized. Tian Mei frowned and said. She was from a succubus clan and was very sensitive to demonic qi. Yes, the demonic qi on these people is very similar to Yang Hongwu's. I'm afraid they are Zetian's people. Yang Hongwu could not figure out why the Zetian's people were guarding the transmission tower. Could it be that he knew that the origin of Jiutian Shidi was in the ancient desolate continent? Perhaps he was going to the ancient desolate continent for other reasons? However, no matter what, he had to hurry. He could not waste time. Then what we do now? These people are not weak. If we fight, it will definitely cause a huge commotion. At that time, I'm afraid we will attract the attention of the Zetian. If that's the case, it will not be good. Bai Iran frowned and said, You guys enter my immortal pagoda first. I will go alone. Yang Hongwu said, You have a way? Bai Iran looked at Yang Hongwu and said, These people are very strong. Moreover, they're protected by arrays and boundaries. Once you touch the boundaries, they will sense it. No worries. It's just a boundary. Yang Hongwu smiled. In fact, There were similarities between formations, enchantments, and restrictions. Especially between enchantments and formations, there was a great connection. He had the formation-breaking pill. Although it couldn't break the enchantment, it could use the same principle to integrate himself into the enchantment. That way, he could silently enter the enchantment without being discovered. Yang Hongwu waved his hand, and a ray of light enveloped the three women. In an instant, they were kept in the immortal pagoda. After keeping the three women in the immortal pagoda, Yang Hongwu concealed his aura and slowly approached the transfer tower. After arriving at the boundary of the boundary, Yang Hongwu began to adjust his aura. He kept using the formation-breaking pill to test it. Little by little, Yang Hongwu found the origin of the boundary. Then, after adjusting his aura to match the boundary's aura, he entered the boundary in a flash. However, what Yang Hongwu did not expect was that the moment he entered the boundary, a strong force attacked him. Yang Hongwu had no choice but to raise his hand to block it. Bang! This attack was more powerful than he had expected. This attack sent him flying. If it wasn't for his strong physical body, this attack would have been enough to injure him. Damn it! Yang Hongwu cursed in his heart. He did not expect that these guys would have such a plan. This time, he was completely exposed. Those guards instantly discovered the existence of Yang Hongwu. One by one, they rushed towards Yang Hongwu aggressively. Yang Hongwu's eyes emitted a terrifying cold light. Since he could not enter the transfer tower silently, he could only attack. Demon Killing Finger. Chapter 1048. Back in the ancient desolate continent with a cracking sound, that person's body instantly shattered. Before the golden finger, he was reduced to nothingness. The others wanted to escape, but Yang Hongwu snorted. How could he let them escape? He shouted and formed a seal with his hands. How an evil suppression seal. A huge golden seal condensed in the void and smashed towards the crowd. Boom! With a loud explosion, the group of people were suppressed by the golden seal to the point that they couldn't move. The golden seal smashed into their bodies and instantly sent them flying. Then, Yang Hongwu moved his mind, and an immortal pagoda flew out from his hand and enveloped the guards. They wanted to resist, but it was futile. They couldn't resist the terrifying suction force, and were sucked into the immortal pagoda space in a few breaths. Go in. After Yang Hongwu sealed them, he threw them into the little devil world. Now, the little devil world had undergone a huge change. It started to merge with several spatial worlds. Yang Hongwu could use more and more of the world's energy. As long as he broke through to the Great Emperor realm, he could completely merge 2 or even 3 worlds. Then, Yang Hongwu's strength would increase tremendously. Once he mastered the world's origin energy, his strength would increase tremendously. In the Tai Xianfu, Zetian felt that the connection between him and the guards was cut off. He opened his eyes immediately. Who is it? You actually killed a few of my guards. Zetian's eyes narrowed. Looks like things aren't that simple. Men. Master. A few black-clothed men and a purple-clothed man appeared in front of Zetian and said respectfully. The purple-clothed old man leading the group was none other than the old ancestor of the Z clan. If anyone saw him, they would be incomparably shocked. The old ancestor of the Z clan actually called Zetian Master. Elder Z, go to the transport tower and investigate. See who it is that actually killed my people. Zetian said. In fact, Zetian also knew that the ancient Desolation continent had origin energy. However, he was at a critical moment and could not go down to the ancient Desolation continent. Therefore, he had sent people to guard the transport tower to prevent experts from sneaking in and ruining his plan. Yes, Master. The patriarch of the Z family nodded, then turned and left. At this time, Yang Hongwu had already entered the transport tower and used it to teleport to the ancient desolate continent. Coming to the ancient desolate continent again, Yang Hongwu was filled with emotions. Back then, when he had just crossed over and possessed the body of the third young master of the Yang family, his cultivation was stolen by the great demon Yuji, and he became a cripple who couldn't cultivate. Now his strength had reached the peak of the great saint realm, and he stood at the peak of the entire ancient desolate continent. and even the ancient domain. In the 9 heavens and 10 earths, not many people could compete with him. Time flew by, and Yang Hongwu sighed with emotion. Now, he had returned to the ancient desolate continent. I wonder how the Golden Dragon Dynasty is doing now. Yang Hongwu murmured. The Golden Dragon Dynasty was the origin of Yang Hongwu. Back then, he was the 3rd prince of the Heaven's Pride King of the Golden Dragon Dynasty. His father, uncle was one of the 3 great martial kings of the Golden Dragon Dynasty. He had a high status and was the #1 expert in the Golden Dragon Dynasty. It was a pity that he was schemed against by his 2 brothers and lost his cultivation. His father was also possessed by a demon. Thinking of this, Yang Hongwu's eyes emitted a cold light. Those demons didn't seem to be simple. Now that he thought about it, he felt that something was wrong. Why didn't those demons possess other people's bodies? Why did they choose the Yang family of the Heaven's Pride King? However, he still couldn't figure it out. Since he couldn't figure it out, Yang Hongwu didn't bother to think about it anymore. Shaking his head, he decided to go to the Golden Dragon Dynasty and take a look at the Heaven's Pride King Palace and the Flower Moon King Palace. The Flower Moon King Palace was his true origin. It was in the Flower Moon King Palace that he obtained the inheritance of the Dragon Pearl and the 9 Dragon Sage Body. Yang Hongwu thought for a while, and with a thought, he entered the Immortal Pagoda. In the Immortal Pagoda, all the girls were cultivating. Even Yang Hongwu didn't notice that he had entered the Immortal Pagoda. Yang Hongwu came to Hua Wuying's residence. Hua Wuying and Yuji were cultivating in the same place. Both of them came from the ancient desolate continent and were from the Golden Dragon Dynasty. Therefore, they had a good relationship. Yuji, Hua Wuying. Yang Hongwu shouted when he entered the courtyard and saw the 2 girls sparring. Yang Hongwu, why are you here today? When the 2 women saw Yang Hongwu, they were also very surprised. They knew that Yang Hongwu was at a critical moment in his cultivation and had no time to enter the space of the Immortal Pagoda. But this time he actually came, which made them very surprised and pleasantly surprised. That's right. Could it be that you finished dealing with Zetian's matter? They knew that Zetian was Yang Hongwu's biggest enemy. If it wasn't for Zetian, Yang Hongwu wouldn't be so nervous and wouldn't need to cultivate so crazily. The girls were resentful towards Zetian. If it wasn't for that bastard Zetian, Yang Hongwu wouldn't have time to accompany them. As a woman, no one wanted their man to have no time to accompany them. They hated the main culprit who had caused this to happen to them to the core. Of course, they also knew that if they didn't cultivate diligently, they wouldn't be able to catch up to Yang Hongwu. Otherwise, when Yang Hongwu's cultivation reached the Great Emperor realm, they would still be in the Sage realm, Great Sage realm, or even the Venerable realm. The gap between them would be too big. At that time, Yang Hongwu could live for countless years, but their lifespans were limited. How could they accompany him until the end of time? Therefore, they also cultivated diligently in the Immortal Pagoda. With the abundant cultivation resources provided by Yang Hongwu, their strength improved by leaps and bounds. Their cultivation speed was much faster than the average person. But if they want to catch up to Yang Hongwu, they still had a long way to go. No. Yang Hongwu shook his head and smiled bitterly. It's not that simple. Zetian's strength is now even more terrifying. He already obtained the soul-suppressing tablet and probably merged with his original body. Zetian's strength has reached a terrifying level. If Zetian wasn't at a critical moment, I wouldn't even be able to protect myself. What? Yuji and Hua Wuying's expressions changed. How is that possible? With your current strength, you should be about to break through to the Great Emperor realm. Don't tell me that with your cultivation and the Clear Sky Pagoda, you still can't kill Zetian? Chapter 1049. Back to the Academy. Do you need our help to enter the Immortal Pagoda? Yuji looked at Yang Hongwu, her face slightly red. Yes, I haven't seen you in a long time. I miss you. Yang Hongwu said. We miss you too. Yuji said. Now that I'm in the ancient Desolation continent, would you like to come with me to the Golden Dragon Dynasty? Yang Hongwu said to the 2 girls. You're in the ancient Desolation continent? The 2 girls were shocked. What are you going to do there? Looking for an opportunity to break through. Yang Hongwu said. In the ancient desolation continent, there is the origin energy of the 9 heavens and 10 earths. This time, I came to the ancient desolation continent to search for the origin energy of the 9 heavens and 10 earths, and use it to break through to the Emperor realm. Do you know where the origin energy of Jiutian is? Is it in the Golden Dragon Dynasty? Yu asked. I don't know exactly where it is. I'll have to search for it. However, before that, I'll have to set up a great formation. This formation must be able to conceal itself from the heavens. Right now, my knowledge in setting up formations has yet to reach that level. Yang Hongwu said. Therefore, I might need your help when the time comes. Why do you need to block heaven's secrets? Hua Wuing asked. Could it be that Zetian is so powerful that he could deduce your location? No, Zetian is strong, but he can't calculate my location. Yang Hongwu shook his head. I need to block heaven's secrets because of Jiutian Shidi's heavenly Tao. In fact, I'm not tolerated by the heavenly Tao in Jiutian Shidi. Otherwise, it wouldn't be so difficult for me to break through. Yang Hongwu smiled bitterly. There was nothing he could do about it. It was ridiculous to say that he was a righteous person. The cultivation method he practiced was the purest cultivation method of the purest Yang. However, Zetian was an evil devil. Yang Hongwu was not tolerated by the heavens and earth. Zetian was an evil devil. The cultivation method of the evil path was born according to the heavens and earth. When the two women heard this, their expressions changed, and they said, Wouldn't that be very dangerous? What should we do? Yu said worriedly. Is there a solution? Yang Hongwu hugged the two girls tightly and said, Don't worry, it's just the heavenly Tao. I'm not afraid. Otherwise, the heavenly Tao would have destroyed me long ago. It's because the heavenly Tao can't kill me that it created a great devil like Zetian. Now, the heavenly Tao of the 9 heavens and 10 earths is heartless. I must destroy it. For the sake of the living beings of the 9 heavens and 10 earths, whether it's Zetian or the heavenly Tao of this world, they should all be destroyed. I support you. No matter what, we will definitely be by your side and face it with you, Yu said in a very firm tone. Shitty, 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 shitty. Shitty Tao, shitty, shures, shitty, shitty, shitty. On this day, Yang Hongwu and the two girls arrived at the entrance of the Tianyi Academy. Looking at the Tianyi Academy from afar, Yang Hongwu sighed. Back then, in order to survive, he had no choice but to enter the Tianyi Academy. Back then, when he had entered the Tianyi Academy, he had been so weak. He couldn't even withstand a single blow from some strong cultivators. But now, those so-called strong cultivators, so-called geniuses, were nothing more than ants in his eyes. He could kill them with a single thought. In front of him, the Tianyi Academy was still very lively. The Tianyi Academy was also a high and mighty existence. It was the place where all the young geniuses gathered. It was the place where all the young people yearned to go. Brother, are you also here to sign up for the exam? A voice pulled Yang Hongwu back from his thoughts. Yang Hongwu turned his head to look. It was an extremely sturdy-looking young man. This young man was wearing animal skin clothes. His eyes were very lively. Is today the Tianyi Academy's enrollment day? Yang Hongwu asked. You don't know? Could it be that you're not here to sign up for the exam? That sturdy-looking young man was startled when he heard that. That's not it. My wife and I are only passing by. Yang Hongwu shook his head and said, It's just that we didn't expect that the Tianyi Academy's enrollment day would be here. However, I've heard that the Tianyi Academy's enrollment is very strict. I'm afraid that I don't have much hope. Therefore, I've never thought of going to take the exam. Brother, don't belittle yourself. If you don't give it a try, no one will know. Besides, the Tianyi Academy's enrollment is not based on strength. Instead, it's based on talent and willpower. It's not just one aspect. For some people, even if their strength and talent are lacking, as long as they have a firm and tenacious willpower, they can still become a disciple of the Tianyi Academy. That young man patted Yang Hongwu's shoulder and comforted him. I can see that little brother is someone with great willpower. There's no harm in giving it a try. Perhaps a miracle will happen. Thank you for your suggestion. I will seriously consider it. Yang Hongwu smiled. He hadn't thought that he would meet such an interesting young man here. Out of the way, out of the way. All of you out of the way. My family's young master is coming to take the exam. At that moment, an incomparably arrogant voice sounded from afar. The originally crowded crowd immediately opened up a path for the person. Not good. Long Hua is coming. The sturdy-looking young man's expression changed. He said, "Let's quickly get out of the way so that we don't get into trouble." Who is Long Hua? How can he be so arrogant? Yang Hongwu frowned and said, "This Long Hua is the crown prince of the Golden Dragon Dynasty. You know about the Golden Dragon Dynasty, right? Because of Yang Hongwu, Golden Dragon Dynasty has become the #1 power in the entire ancient desolate continent. As the crown prince of Golden Dragon Dynasty, Long Hua is naturally extremely arrogant. No one dares to provoke him. Moreover, his aptitude and strength are top-notch. He's a peerless genius in the ancient desolate continent. However, this Long Hua is too arrogant. No matter what it is, as long as he wants something, he'll use any means to get it. If someone dares to provoke him, their family will be destroyed and they'll die without a burial place." When Yang Hongwu heard that, he didn't know whether to laugh or cry. So it was because of him that such an arrogant and despotic fellow had appeared. Yang Hongwu also hadn't expected that the Golden Dragon Dynasty would become the strongest dynasty in the ancient Desolation continent. He's so arrogant and despotic. Does no one in the Tianyi Academy care about him? Asked Yang Hongwu. Chapter 10:50. Boundless arrogance at this moment. Long Hua looked towards Yang Hongwu. When he saw Hua Wuying and Yu Ji beside Yang Hongwu, his eyes lit up. One should know that Hua Wuying and Yu Ji were famous beauties in the ancient Desolation continent. Now that they had been nourished by Yang Hongwu, their cultivation had increased tremendously. They were even more beautiful than before. In the ancient Desolation continent, no one could resist their charm if they weren't wearing a veil. Even though they were wearing a veil, their beauty couldn't be hidden. Who was Long Hua? He was the crown prince of the Golden Dragon Dynasty. He had seen and played with countless beauties. However, when he saw Hua Wuying and Yu Ji, his heart was moved. Even though he didn't see their faces, it was enough to shock him. At this moment, there was only one thought in his mind, and that was to get these two women. "Get out of my way. All of you get out of my way." His subordinate was extremely arrogant. When he saw Yang Hongwu and the others still standing there, he shouted, "Are you guys looking for death? Why aren't you getting out of my way? How dare you block the crown prince's way? Are you tired of living? Sorry, we'll leave now. We'll leave now." The robust young man said. "Wait." At this moment, Long Hua said. Hearing Long Hua's words, the young man's face turned pale. This was troublesome. If he fell into Long Hua's hands, he wouldn't have a good time. Not to mention entering the Tianyi Academy. He might not even be able to keep his life. Hence, he whispered to Yang Hongwu, "Brother, I'll block them later. Hurry up and leave with your wives." Yang Hongwu was surprised. He didn't expect this young man to have such a side to him. Just based on his words, he had to give him a great opportunity, a great benefit. "Bastard, how can you say that?" Long Hua slapped his subordinate's face and scolded. "I told you not to be arrogant. What if you scare people?" Yes, Your Highness. It's my fault." Although the subordinate was unhappy, he didn't dare to say anything. He quickly nodded and said humbly, If you dare to do this again, I won't let you off easily." "Thank you, Your Highness." "Thank you, Your Highness." The subordinate's face turned pale. However, he reacted quickly. His master was probably interested in the two women in front of him. Although the two women didn't show their faces, even with a veil, it couldn't hide their beauty. "How should I address you two beauties?" Long Hua scolded his subordinates and nodded in satisfaction. He walked over to Yang Hongwu and the others and looked at Yu Ji and Hua Wuing. "My subordinates are ignorant and scared the two beauties. But don't worry, I've already taught them a lesson. If the two beauties are still not satisfied, I can give the order to kill them." Long Hua spoke casually, as if killing a person was as simple as eating and drinking. When Long Hua's bodyguard heard Long Hua's words, his face turned pale. His master was definitely someone who could do what he said. If the two women really opened their mouths, Long Hua would really kill him. Master, please spare my life. Please spare my life. Ladies, please spare my life. I didn't do it on purpose. The guard was so frightened that he immediately knelt down and cowed out. Dragon transformation, His Highness the Golden Dragon Dynasty's Crown Prince. At this moment, Yang Hongwu said, "You've opened my eyes. I didn't expect the Golden Dragon Dynasty to become like this." Yang Hongwu had left the ancient desolate continent and the Golden Dragon Dynasty for some time. It wasn't a long time, but it wasn't a short time either. At the end of the day, he had a lot to do with the current state of the Golden Dragon Dynasty. "Brat, who are you?" Hearing Yang Hongwu's words, Long Hua's expression changed. He didn't expect that there would be someone in the Tianyi Academy who dared to speak to him like that. "Who am I? I'm their husband. You're flirting with my wives in front of me. You're not putting me in your eyes." Yang Hongwu said coldly, "The Golden Dragon Dynasty has disappointed me. They actually let such a person be their crown prince. Brat, you're courting death. Do you know that? The Golden Dragon Dynasty isn't something you can talk about." Long Hua's tone was gloomy to the extreme. Looking at Yang Hongwu, he became more and more displeased. Such a trash could actually have two beautiful women as his wives. It was really a waste. It could be said that a fresh flower was stuck in cow dung. No, it should be two fresh flowers. Only someone like him was worthy of such women. His status was high and his talent was amazing. Apart from him, who else could be worthy of such women? This young man must die. After killing him, these two women would be his. If you give these two women to me, perhaps I can be lenient and ask for mercy for you. "I'll spare your life," said Long Hua. "Huh." Yang Hongwu burst into laughter. What a Long Hua! What a crown prince of the Golden Dragon Dynasty! How arrogant! You want to kidnap women? I like to see what ability you have to make me give my wives to you. Just because you're the crown prince of the Golden Dragon Dynasty? Let me tell you, a mere Golden Dragon Dynasty is nothing in my eyes. I don't even care about the Tianyi Academy. If you kowtow and admit your mistake and cripple your own cultivation, perhaps I'll spare your life." When the crowd heard this, they were all shocked. Looking at Yang Hongwu, they thought, is this young man crazy? He's actually so arrogant. He doesn't even put the Golden Dragon Dynasty and the Tianyi Academy in his eyes. The Golden Dragon Dynasty was the strongest power apart from the four great academies. As for the Tianyi Academy, it was the strongest power in the entire ancient desolate continent. Its strength was far above the other three great academies. The Tianyi Academy's strength was enough to sweep the entire continent. This young man was actually so arrogant. He said that the Tianyi Academy couldn't do anything to him. "You want me to cripple my own cultivation and spare my life?" Hearing that, Long Hua burst into laughter. "That's the biggest joke I've ever heard in my life. I admire people like you. However, I'll tell you one thing. To be arrogant, you need strength and trump cards. If you have strength like mine and a background like mine, then you can be arrogant. I don't know where you're from, but this is the Tianyi Academy, the strongest power in the ancient desolate continent. In the ancient desolate continent, no one can be arrogant here, not even me." "So what?" Yang Hongwu humphed coldly. "I'll give you one more chance. Cripple your own cultivation. Otherwise, I'll take action." Chapter 10:51. Treasures move people. Yes, Your Highness. When Long Hua's guards heard this, they immediately rushed forward. Each of them was arrogant like wolves and tigers, as if Yang Hongwu was a sheep in their eyes. Yang Hongwu snorted coldly and waved his hand. A gust of wind blasted out and instantly sent them flying. These people's strength was not bad in the entire ancient desolate continent. However, in Yang Hongwu's eyes, they were like ants that he could kill with a flick of his finger. "Oh my God, what is going on? Too strong. Are my eyes playing tricks on me?" Everyone present was shocked. That young man actually sent Long Hua's guards flying with a wave of his hand. One should know that Long Hua's guards were not weak. In order to protect Long Hua, Long Xinwu had given him countless resources and experts to protect him. These people were all experts of the Purple Palace realm. The Purple Palace realm might not be much in the Tianyi Academy, but outside of the four great academies, Purple Palace realm experts were definitely top experts. In the past, the entire Golden Dragon dynasty did not have a single Purple Palace Realm expert. Now, in the Golden Dragon dynasty, a Purple Palace Realm expert was Long Hua's guard. This showed how important Long Hua was in Long Xinwu's eyes. Oh my god, Purple Palace Realm experts are so weak in front of him. What is this young man's cultivation level? Mysterious Embryo Realm or Primordial Spirit Realm? Isn't this too terrifying? Everyone present was shocked. They could not believe their eyes. No wonder this young man was so arrogant and did not put the Golden Dragon dynasty and the Tianyi Academy in his eyes. To have such a cultivation level at such a young age, he was definitely a genius. No one would believe that such a monstrous genius did not have a powerful force behind him. Long Hua was also shocked. This young man was younger than him, but his cultivation level was so terrifying. Could it be that this young man was the reincarnation of an old antique, or had he regained his youth? If that was the case, then it was too terrifying. Long Hua took a deep breath. Who are you? Even though Long Hua was arrogant, he wasn't a fool. He was arrogant and despotic in the Golden Dragon dynasty and even in the Celestial Academy. However, he knew that the waters of the ancient desolate continent were very deep. Apart from the 4 great universities, there are also some unknown forces. For example, some hidden clans. These hidden forces had a terrifying background and were extremely powerful. They might even be more terrifying than the 4 great universities combined. And this young man had such a powerful cultivation at such a young age. Other than those mysterious forces, he couldn't think of where he came from. You were so arrogant just now, and now you're asking me who I am? Yang Hongwu coldly snorted and said, I said that if you cripple your own cultivation and kneel down and beg for mercy, I will spare your life. Don't go too far. This matter is my fault. How about we just let it go? Long Hua looked at Yang Hongwu and said, if he really came from one of those forces, then he couldn't afford to offend him. If he angered him, not only him, but the entire Golden Dragon dynasty would be implicated. Just let it go. You're dreaming. You wanted to kill me from the beginning and snatch my woman. You think you can let it go with just a few words? You think too highly of yourself. Yang Hongwu coldly snorted. He had to admit that this young man was more perceptive than the average playboy. If it was someone else, they would probably be very stupid and ask him to beg for mercy. What do you want? You want me to cripple my own cultivation? That's impossible. At most, I will give you a celestial tool as an apology. Long Hua gritted his teeth and said. Hearing what Long Hua said, the others present were all stunned. He gave in. The dignified Golden Dragon dynasty's crown prince, that arrogant and lawless Long Hua, actually gave in. It was unbelievable. They couldn't believe what they saw. A celestial tool. Long Hua actually wants to take out a celestial tool to apologize to that young man. Who is that young man? Yeah. There are only a few celestial tools in the entire ancient desolate continent. It is said that there are only a few in the entire Celestial Academy. Moreover, they are all in the hands of those old antiques or super geniuses. It would be great if I had a celestial tool. Look at yourself in the mirror. Even if you have a celestial tool, can you protect it? Why can't I protect it? Once I get a celestial tool and it recognizes me as its master, my strength will increase by leaps and bounds. At that time, I can even defeat a peak mysterious embryo realm expert. Huh. The others immediately sneered. That's a celestial artifact, something that even primordial soul realm experts would covet. Even if you can use the power of the celestial artifact to defend against arcane embryo realm experts, can you defend against primordial soul realm experts? That person stopped talking. A celestial tool was definitely a top-notch treasure in the ancient desolate continent. Those who could own a celestial tool were either super experts or had a huge force behind them. Otherwise, if an ordinary cultivator got a celestial tool, it wouldn't be a good thing. It would be a disaster. In the ancient desolate continent, once a celestial tool appeared, it would set off a bloodbath. Countless people would kill each other for a celestial tool. For countless years, every time a celestial tool was destroyed, it would be stained with blood and countless experts would die. Every celestial tool that was born could be said to be stained with the blood of countless living beings. This saying was absolutely true. Long Hua actually proposed to take out a heaven artifact as an apology. This made Yang Hongwu very surprised. This was a celestial tool. How could he take it out so easily? There must be something fishy going on. Who was Yang Hongwu? How could the strange look in Long Hua's eyes escape his eyes? Therefore, there must be something wrong with this celestial tool. Of course, a celestial tool might be attractive to others. However, to Yang Hongwu, a celestial tool was nothing. Even an emperor weapon wasn't attractive to Yang Hongwu, let alone a celestial tool. Unless it was a true treasure, a powerful true treasure would be attractive to Yang Hongwu. Seeing that Yang Hongwu didn't say anything, Long Hua thought that he was tempted. He continued, "As long as you don't pursue this matter, this celestial tool is yours." As he spoke, Long Hua took out a blood-red ball. That blood-red ball contained a vast amount of power. It was obvious that it was no ordinary object at first glance. Everyone's eyes widened when they saw the blood-red ball. They couldn't wait to snatch it. Chapter 1052. Legend, What Are Heaven Weapons? Yang Hongwu snorted coldly and tossed out 3 of them. "I have plenty of trash like this. I can have as many as I want." Yang Hongwu tossed out a few more. Looking at this, everyone's eyes widened. They all felt that it was inconceivable. What kind of person was this? He actually did not take the heaven tools seriously. They did not know how many heaven tools he had in his hands. In the eyes of others, heaven tools were very precious, but he actually casually threw out so many of them. This, are my eyes playing tricks on me? This is real. Oh my God, there are so many heaven weapons. Everyone present exclaimed in surprise. Long Hua was slapped in the face. His face was slapped so hard that it was swollen. This was shocking. "Why you? Who are you? Cripple your own cultivation," Yang Hongwu said coldly. "I don't care if you're arrogant or despotic, but you shouldn't have offended me. Therefore, you have to pay the price." Long Hua's face was pale. This time around, he had really kicked a metal plate. The identity of this man was extremely scary. In the ancient desolate mainland, no one could treat heaven weapons as nothing. Therefore, the strength of this man was frighteningly strong. He wasn't even on the same level as Long Hua. In the eyes of this man, Long Hua was just an ant. If he didn't provoke him, he wouldn't even look at him. But Long Hua was blind and provoked him. Wasn't this just courting death? "Please be magnanimous and let me off." With that, Long Hua broke down completely and knelt down onto the ground. "Do you want to die?" Yang Hongwu's eyes shone coldly. "If you want me to do it, you'll die. You won't even have the chance to reincarnate." "No, I wouldn't dare. I wouldn't dare. I can use a piece of news to exchange for it. Please let me go," Long Hua shouted. "I guarantee that you won't lose out in this piece of news." Yang Hongwu initially wanted to kill Long Hua, but he was stunned when he heard Long Hua's words. What kind of news could this guy have that he would be interested in? It would be great if there was news about the origin energy of the 9 heavens and 10 earths. Is that so? You should know that I have high standards. Ordinary news and ordinary secrets are nothing to me. Yang Hongwu said coldly, "If I don't like you, the consequences won't be as simple as killing you. I'll make you suffer all kinds of torture, making you wish you were dead. At that time, even death will be an extravagant hope for you." When Yang Hongwu said this, the surrounding temperature dropped by a few degrees, as if it was bone-chilling. "No, that secret is the biggest secret I know. Back then, my aptitude wasn't outstanding, but it was because of this secret that I was able to transform from an unremarkable constitution into the powerful constitution I have today," said Long Hua. The rest of the people present were dumbfounded when they saw Long Hua's appearance. The Grand Crown Prince of the Golden Dragon Dynasty was actually speaking in such a servile manner. However, upon hearing that Long Hua was going to reveal such a secret that could turn an unremarkable cultivator into a super genius, a secret that could change one's body constitution, everyone wanted to know. Even those people who were originally afraid of Yang Hongwu were moved. Even the elders of the Tianyi Academy began to move. They all wanted to obtain this secret. Follow me. Yang Hongwu extended his hand and grabbed Long Hua. Long Hua wanted to struggle. However, he discovered that he was simply unable to move. Seeing that Yang Hongwu was about to take Long Hua away, an elder of the Tianyi Academy blocked his path. Stop! Long Hua is a disciple of our Tianyi Academy. You cannot casually take him away. You want to stop me? A cold glint shot out from Yang Hongwu's eyes. With a cold voice, he said, "Do you know what the consequences will be if you offend me?" "What consequences?" Hearing those words, that elder said coldly, "This is the Tianyi Academy. I represent the face of the Tianyi Academy. Could it be that you want to go against our Tianyi Academy?" Tianyi Academy, what a great reputation. I remember that the Tianyi Academy was still considered to be fair. However, the current Tianyi Academy has actually become like this. You actually dare to casually meddle in matters outside of the academy? Yang Hongwu said coldly as he looked at that elder. In the past, the Tianyi Academy had never been so tyrannical. However, these people's reactions were within his expectations. No matter what, Long Hua is a disciple of our Tianyi Academy. You cannot take him away, that elder said while shaking his head. As for how the Tianyi Academy is doing, it is not up to you to decide. Is that so? I wonder how all Seer is doing right now. Yang Hongwu said, You dare to directly call the headmaster by his name? Are you courting death? Hearing Yang Hongwu say the name All Seer, that elder was enraged. He extended his hand and grabbed towards Yang Hongwu. I'll capture you and hand you over to the law enforcement team to be punished. What arrogance! With a mere cultivation of the early stage of the profound embryo realm, you want to capture me? To others, that elder's strength might appear to be extremely powerful. However, in the eyes of Yang Hongwu, he was unable to withstand a single blow. With a wave of his hand, a burst of power exploded forth and instantly sent that elder flying. What valiant cultivation! Too powerful. That is an outer court elder of the Tianyi Academy. Yet, he was unable to withstand a single blow and was sent flying. Valiant, truly too valiant. The crowd was endlessly shocked. To people like them, an outer court elder was a high and above existence. Their strength was incomparably valiant. With their cultivations, they were existences that they could only look up to. However, they never expected that this high and mighty outer court elder would be unable to withstand a single blow from this youngster. With a casual wave of his hand, that elder was sent flying. Valiant, too valiant. Could it be that this youngster's cultivation had already reached the legendary realm? Or could it be that this youngster was simply not someone from the ancient desolate continent, but rather someone from the upper realm? Thinking up to this point, each and every one of them opened their eyes wide. Suddenly, a youngster loudly said, I know who he is. I know who he is. Who is it? Everyone looked towards him. Look at that sculpture. That youngster pointed toward the sculpture beside the testing tower. In the Tianyi Academy, some of the most outstanding geniuses would have their own sculptures. Naturally, Yang Hongwu's sculpture would also appear here. Yang Hongwu. He's Yang Hongwu. Heavens! He's the legendary person from 10 years ago. Seeing this, everyone present was in an uproar. 10 years ago, Yang Hongwu had ascended to the ancient domain. Who would have thought that he would actually return now? Furthermore, he appeared here and his strength had become so valiant. Chapter 1053. Soul Sage Goodbye. You even have a statue now. Yang Hongwu did not expect that the Tianyi Academy would actually give him a statue. This was truly unexpected. It would appear that you're quite popular in the Tianyi Academy, said Yuji with a smile. Yang Hongwu. Long Hua was also stunned. He did not expect that the person before him was actually Yang Hongwu. If he had known that it was Yang Hongwu, even if he was beaten to death, he would not have dared to say such words to Yang Hongwu. Yuji, Huaiyue Wang. Those two women must be Yuji and Huaiyue Wang. Another voice shouted. So it's Yang Hongwu, Yuji, and Huaiyue Wang. No wonder. One by one, they cried out in alarm. And here I thought it was Hu Xiu'er and Zhang Qiushuang, said another person. Move aside. All of you move aside, said Yang Hongwu. So you Yang Hongwu, your family. Yang Hongwu, I won't care about Long Hua anymore. However, since you've already returned, you should at least go and see the headmaster. Although that outer courtyard elder was injured, and his injuries were not light, he did not dare to be impudent, nor did he dare to get angry. Instead, he arrived before Yang Hongwu with a smile on his face. No need. Yang Hongwu shook his head and said, "This time around, I won't be staying for too long. It's just that I have some matters to take care of. This time around, I just so happened to pass by the Tianyi Academy." Wait, seeing that Yang Hongwu was about to leave, he hurriedly called out, "Wait a moment, I have something to say." "What is it?" Although Yang Hongwu was very dissatisfied with this guy, he still stopped and asked, "This matter concerns the safety of the entire ancient desolate continent. Thus, no matter what it is, you should listen to it first," said that outer courtyard elder. "Go ahead," said Yang Hongwu. Seeing how serious his words were, he said, "It's not convenient to talk here. Please come with me." Yang Hongwu hesitated for a moment, but still nodded and followed behind him. Yuji and Hua Wuing grabbed Long Hua and followed behind Yang Hongwu. The people in front all opened up a path for him. After entering a courtyard, there was a person sitting inside. Yang Hongwu naturally knew this person. It was actually an old acquaintance of his, a soul sage. He was the dean of the alchemy department. Back then, he wanted to pull him into the alchemy department. There were a few people in the Celestial Academy that Yang Hongwu still remembered. One of them was a soul sage. Of course, there was also Liang Xiaohuang and Huang Lang. The soul sage had tried to rope him in, but Huang Lang and Liang Xiao both had high statuses back then. They were both inner court disciples of the Tianyi Academy, and they were constantly plotting against him. In the end, they didn't have a good ending. Yang Hongwu didn't really like soul sages, but he didn't dislike them either. "Dean Soul Sage. Yang Hongwu, it's you. You actually came to the lower realm." When the soul sage saw Yang Hongwu, he was even more shocked. He didn't expect that Yang Hongwu's current strength could not be seen through it all. It had only been a short time, but his cultivation had already reached such a level. It was simply too shocking. "I came to the lower realm this time because of some matters," Yang Hongwu said. "I heard that something big has happened in the ancient desolate continent. It might even endanger the entire ancient desolate continent. What exactly is it? It's good that you're here. With your current cultivation, I'm afraid that even the dean is no match for you. It's just right for you to deal with this matter," said the soul sage. "What exactly is it?" Yang Hongwu asked. "Senior, can you explain it clearly? Something has happened in the ancient desolate battlefield." The soul sage said, "You should know that the ancient desolate battlefield is the inheritance ground of our 4 great academies. The young geniuses of our 4 great academies will be sent to the ancient desolate battlefield to train. Those who have great opportunities will obtain great benefits in the ancient desolate battlefield. They can even ascend to the ancient domain directly from the ancient desolate battlefield. Back then, all of you ascended to the ancient domain from the ancient desolate battlefield. Now, something big has happened in the ancient desolate battlefield." "Something has happened in the ancient desolate battlefield?" Yang Hongwu's face darkened. The ancient desolate battlefield was indeed connected to the ancient domain. The ancient desolate battlefield of the ancient desolate continent, the ancient desolate battlefield of the ancient domain, and the ancient desolate abyss were actually connected to each other. It was a special space. That's right. Demonic chi is surging in the ancient desolate battlefield. It has even spread out. If we don't stop it in time, I'm afraid that the demonic chi will spread across the entire continent. When that happens, the entire ancient desolate continent will be demonized and become a dangerous place. At that time, it will be difficult for us humans to survive. The entire ancient desolate continent will become a demonic domain, said the soul sage. Yang Hongwu's face darkened. If that was the case, the situation would be really serious. The demonic chi in the ancient desolate battlefield was overflowing. Could it be that some terrifying demon had appeared? Or could it be that some powerful demonic weapon had appeared in the ancient desolate battlefield? Speaking of this matter, Yang Hongwu thought of a problem. That was the problem of Zetian sending people to guard the transport tower. Why did Zetian send people to guard the transport tower in the first place? Could it be that he already knew that something like this would happen? Or could it be that the problem in the ancient desolate battlefield was related to Ztion? Was all of this caused by Ztion? No matter what, he had to investigate this matter thoroughly. Moreover, when Yang Hongwu was in the lower realm and entered the ancient desolate continent, he had thought that the thing he was looking for, the origin energy of the 9 heavens and 10 earths, was most likely in the ancient desolate battlefield. Hence, this trip to the ancient desolate battlefield could not be delayed, since it concerns the safety of the entire ancient desolate continent. Leave this matter to me. I will make a trip to the ancient desolate battlefield immediately. Yang Hongwu said, "That's great." The soul sage was overjoyed when he heard this. Your current strength is already at the peak of the ancient desolate continent. Furthermore, I remember that you can challenge those above your level. Although your strength will be suppressed after you descend to the lower realm, I believe that your fighting strength should be unmatched. Senior, you don't have to worry. The ancient desolate continent will be fine. Yang Hongwu said, "There's no time to lose. Let's take action immediately." The soul sage said, "There's no hurry. I still have some things to ask." Yang Hongwu pointed to dragon form beside him. "Isn't this dragon form? Why did you capture him?" The soul sage only noticed that there were 2 women behind Yang Hongwu and another person. Who were these 2? As for Yuji and Hua Wuing, they surprised the soul sage. Yang Hongwu was with Hu Xiaoer and Zheng Qiushuang back then. He did not expect that the person he brought to the lower realm this time was not them. "This is Yuji and Hua Wuing. They're my wives," Yang Hongwu said. "As for dragon form, this brat is too much." Chapter 1054. Where the opportunity lies, it's impossible to spare him this time. I've already given him many chances. If the information he gives me satisfies me, I'll spare his life. However, if the information he gives me doesn't meet my requirements, I'm sorry. I won't give him any face, even if Long Xinwu comes personally. Yang Hongwu said coldly. Although Yang Hongwu was grateful to Long Xinwu, it didn't mean that he had to tolerate his descendants time and time again. There were some things that couldn't be forgiven. Yang Hongwu indeed had many people in the ancient desolate continent to be grateful to. However, it didn't mean that he had to give up his bottom line. To a powerhouse, his dignity couldn't be offended. The soul sage sighed when he saw Yang Hongwu acting this way. After all, this was Yang Hongwu's own matter. Furthermore, the matter between Yang Hongwu and Long Xinwu, or rather between Yang Hongwu and the Golden Dragon Empire, was a family matter. As a soul sage, he was just an outsider. It was enough for him to say one sentence. If he said anything more, it would make Yang Hongwu unhappy. That wouldn't be worth it for him. To him, dragon form didn't have much value at all. He was already giving Long Xinwu face by saying this. Although Long Hua's aptitude wasn't bad, and he could be considered a genius, there was no lack of geniuses in this world. A genius only had the potential to become a powerhouse before he matured. Once he died in the process of maturing, he would have no value. After all, a dead genius was nothing. For a so-called genius like dragon form, who was too arrogant, despotic, and looked down on everyone else, the possibility of him growing up was extremely small. Furthermore, the birth of a powerhouse wasn't just a matter of one's physique and intelligence. It was also related to one's temperament. Evidently, Long Hua wasn't cultivated enough in this aspect. This meant that the possibility of Long Hua becoming a powerhouse was too small. In other words, it was impossible for him to become a powerhouse. The gap between him and Yang Hongwu was too big. The Yang Hongwu of the past was not so arrogant and despotic. It could be said that Yang Hongwu himself was very low-key. If it were not for others provoking him, Yang Hongwu would not be in the limelight. After all, there is only one genius like Yang Hongwu. It was hard to find one in 10,000 years. Long Hua was very happy when he heard the soul sage pleading for mercy. He also hoped that Yang Hongwu would give his soul sage face. However, he was very disappointed when he heard Yang Hongwu's words. He didn't expect Yang Hongwu to not only not give the soul sage any face, but also say such things. He didn't even give face to his father, Long Xinwu. Although he was furious, there was nothing he could do. After all, The other party's strength was there for all to see. No wonder he was a super genius in the past. He was the #1 person in the ancient desolate continent's younger generation. No, he was the most talented person in the ancient desolate continent. No one could compare to him in terms of talent and strength. Now that he had returned to the lower realms from the ancient domain, was there anyone who could be a match for him? Clearly, there was no one, unless a powerhouse from the ancient domain descended. Perhaps that powerhouse might be able to compete with Yang Hanwu. However, he didn't know that there were very few people in the ancient domain who could defeat Yang Hanwu. In fact, there was almost no one who could compete with him. Yang Hanwu waved his hand, and a formation appeared. It wrapped around him and Long Hua, isolating the Soul Sage. The Soul Sage was astonished when he saw this. This move was very impressive. It could easily isolate him. It seemed like Yang Hanwu did not want him to know what he wanted to ask. Speak, Long Hua. If the things you speak of are unable to satisfy me, you can only go and die, Yang Hanwu said coldly. Don't worry, you will definitely be satisfied. But later, I went to a place which was a cliff at the entrance of the Dragon's Wrath secret realm. I found a teleportation formation at the bottom of the cliff. After I entered the teleportation formation, I entered an ancient palace. I was in a corner of the palace, and I was given a yellow energy source. After that energy source merged with my battle body was greatly improved, and my strength increased by leaps and bounds. I directly entered the Purple Mansion realm. I also entered the Purple Palace realm. Yang Hanwu was astonished. A yellow energy source could directly enter the Purple Palace realm. It seemed like the Dragon's Fury secret realm was not as simple as he had imagined it to be. The things that he had obtained and everything that he had seen might just be the surface. The Golden Dragon Dynasty was not as simple as it seemed. Only this information? Yang Hanwu asked. Long Hua nodded and said, only this information. I originally wanted to explore the palace. However, it was a pity that there seemed to be a powerful force that prevented me from entering. Moreover, I felt a terrifying pressure in the depths of the palace. That pressure was extremely powerful. It felt like I would be turned into ashes if I felt a little bit of it. Therefore, I did not dare to go any further. I suspect that the palace was built by a great emperor. It might be the remains of a great emperor. For Long Hua, great emperor realm experts were legendary figures. They were the pinnacle existences in the entire 9 heavens 10 earths. However, he did not know that a great emperor was not considered a super expert. There was a powerful existence above the great emperor realm, the Tai True God realm. A Tai True God realm expert was the true supreme existence. Although I am not completely satisfied with your information, I will still spare your life this time. However, if what you said is not true, I will let you know what it means to live a life worse than death. Now, scram back to the Golden Dragon Dynasty. Yang Hanwu moved his mind and threw Long Hua out. Long Hua was furious after being thrown out. He hated Yang Hanwu to the core. He was the crown prince of the Golden Dragon Dynasty. He had always been a superior existence. However, he was humiliated this time. It was impossible for him not to be angry and resentful. However, it was useless for him to be angry. He knew that the gap between his strength and Yang Hongwu's was too big. However, he secretly swore that he would make Yang Hongwu pay the price one day. He would make Yang Hongwu regret what he had done today. Chapter 1055. Huiziyu was shocked. Let's go to the ancient desolate battlefield. Yang Hongwu said to the Soul Sage, who was in a daze. Oh, okay. Have you settled the matter? The Soul Sage asked. Yes. Yang Hongwu nodded. It's just a small matter. The most important thing now is to investigate the ancient desolate battlefield. Nothing else is important. That's right. I'm worried that the Dean and the others won't be able to hold on. So we have to hurry over. The Soul Sage nodded. The demonic creatures in the ancient desolate battlefield were stronger and more ferocious than the other. Moreover, their strength was constantly increasing. It was fine for a short period of time. However, once time passed, there was no way to deal with them. Not only that, the cultivators who resisted the demonic creatures might even be demonized. If that happened, the situation would become even more serious. Therefore, the entire ancient desolate continent was in a life and death situation. If Yang Hongwu didn't appear, he would have to ask for help from the ancient domain. However, the ancient domain might not have a way to deal with this matter. After all, even though the experts from the ancient domain could descend to the lower realm, their cultivation would be restricted and they wouldn't be able to unleash their full strength. However, the demonic creatures were different. They didn't seem to be restricted by the power of laws. They were extremely powerful, and their fighting strength was terrifying. Moreover, their strength was constantly increasing. In the beginning, the demonic creatures that appeared in the ancient desolate battlefield weren't strong. They were only at the Purple Mansion realm. However, after a few months, they had become extremely terrifying. There were even deity realm demonic creatures in the depths of the ancient desolate battlefield. Those were deity realm demonic creatures. If they were in the Celestial Academy, they could use the Celestial Academy's array to deal with them. However, it was impossible to do so in the ancient desolate battlefield. In fact, they didn't know that the ancient desolate continent did have a suppressive effect on the cultivators from the upper realm. However, if they entered the ancient desolate battlefield, the suppressive effect would be greatly reduced. However, there was a special law in the ancient desolate battlefield that made it difficult for some powerful cultivators to enter. Yang Hongwu knew this from the beginning. However, there was a problem now. The suppressive effect seemed to have disappeared. Time passed quickly. Yang Hongwu's trio and the Soul Sage quickly arrived at the entrance of the ancient desolate battlefield. Looking at the entrance before him, Yang Hongwu could not help but sigh. Back then, his strength was not considered strong. He was even weaker than some of the geniuses. However, after entering the ancient desolate battlefield, Yang Hongwu's strength had improved by leaps and bounds. In the ancient desolate battlefield, he displayed his invincible might and defeated all his enemies. Even the experts from the ancient region were defeated by him. Thinking of this, Yang Hongwu couldn't help but feel a little proud. Although there were many thorns and bumps along the way, and he even encountered countless life and death crises, he was more scared than hurt. On the contrary, his cultivation had advanced by leaps and bounds all the way, and he grew rapidly. Now, in just a dozen years, he had gone from a trash to the Great Sage Peak. He was only one step away from the Great Emperor realm. As for his combat strength, he was comparable to an invincible Great Emperor. If he obtained the origin energy of the 9 heavens and 10 earths in the ancient desolate continent, his strength would become even stronger and he would break through to the Great Emperor realm. At that time, as long as it was not a Tai true god expert, no one would be a match for him. This time, he might be able to find some opportunities in the ancient desolate battlefield. Yang Hongwu had a feeling that this was going to be a very important opportunity. Huaziyu, what's the situation in the ancient desolate battlefield now? The Soul Sage entered a small house and looked at the exhausted Huaziyu, who was still standing guard. Dean Soul Sage, the situation is very critical now. If we don't have any reinforcements, I'm afraid we won't be able to hold on for another month. Huaziyu smiled bitterly. Looking at Huaziyu, Yang Hongwu was shocked. Huaziyu had tried to kill him back then. Back then, there was also Bu Jiqian who attacked him together with him. However, Huaziyu was also a figure. Don't worry, our reinforcements have arrived. The Soul Sage smiled and patted Huaziyu's shoulder. Really? Huaziyu was overjoyed. Where's the army? No one wanted to die. If this continued, none of the people who were defending against the demonic creatures in the ancient desolate battlefield would be able to survive. If they didn't die, they would be corroded by the demonic chi, turning into demons that only knew how to kill. Regardless of which situation it was, Huaziyu did not want to end up like that. Therefore, when he heard that reinforcements had arrived, he was very excited and stood up immediately. Over there, the Soul Sage said. A person. It's Yang Hongwu. Huaziyu was a little disappointed when he saw only one person. However, when he saw who it was, he was very surprised. Yes, it's me. Your strength. What level have you reached? Huaziyu looked carefully and was shocked. He did not expect Huaziyu's strength to reach such a level. Huaziyu was a little too strong. Although he knew that Yang Hongwu's cultivation speed was very fast, and that he had ascended to the ancient region, his strength must have improved tremendously now that he was in the lower realm. However, only 10 years had passed. No matter how fast his cultivation speed was, there would still be a limit. Based on the current situation, Yang Hongwu's strength had reached a very terrifying level. He looked at Yang Hongwu and could not sense a trace of Yang Hongwu's aura. In fact, he could not even sense Yang Hongwu standing in front of him. This level of strength could only be felt by those ancient great emperors. Although there were no great emperors in the ancient desolate continent, there were inheritances of great emperors in some ancient secret realms. Huaziyu had encountered those great emperors before. The aura of those great emperors was as terrifying as his. He even had a feeling that Yang Hongwu's strength was stronger and more terrifying than those great emperors. Huaziyu shook his head and thought that there must be something wrong with his brain. It was probably because he was very nervous. Otherwise, why would he have such thoughts? Yang Hongwu had only cultivated for a few years. How could he be stronger than those great emperors? Chapter 1056. Beautiful people Huaziyu did not believe that Yang Hongwu could cultivate to such a level in such a short period of time. Even if he was the reincarnation of a supreme expert, it was impossible. In fact, there were many things that he did not know. It was not only Yang Hongwu who had reached such a level, Zetian had also reached such a level. Furthermore, Zetian's cultivation was even more terrifying and powerful. Huaziyu, long time no see. Yang Hongwu looked at Huaziyu with a faint smile and said, "Long time no see. Did you come to the lower realm this time to help deal with the matters of the ancient desolate continent?" Huaziyu asked, "Where are the others?" "No one else, just me." Yang Hongwu said, "You're alone?" Huaziyu's eyes widened when he heard this. "You're not joking with me, right?" Yang Hongwu shook his head and said, "Of course I'm not joking with you. I've never joked before. This one person's strength is ultimately limited. It's impossible to change reality." Huaziyu smiled bitterly and said, "Although I know that you're very powerful, you have no way of dealing with so many demonic creatures. Furthermore, these demonic creatures are constantly increasing in strength. What's even more terrifying is that there's a special existence in the depths of the ancient desolate battlefield. This special existence is extremely terrifying and formless. Many experts have died at the hands of this special existence." "A special existence that's formless and formless?" Yang Hongwu was stunned. "Perhaps it's a type of devil, such as the shadow devil." "It's not the shadow devil. I know about the shadow devil." Huaziyu shook his head and said, "Although the shadow devil clan is powerful, there are traces to follow. However, this special existence is truly formless and formless. It's impossible to sense its existence. Even the dean and the others are helpless. Let me deal with this guy." Yang Hongwu smiled and said, "I want to see how strong he is." "Senior brother, Huaziyu." At this moment, a clear voice sounded from outside. Hearing this voice, Yang Hongwu trembled slightly. This voice was very familiar. In Yang Hongwu's mind, a graceful figure appeared. This person was none other than the person he had met when he first entered the Heavenly Dragon sect. She was a beautiful woman who had a close relationship with Yang Hongwu. She was the granddaughter of the Heavenly Dragon sect's elder Mu Serene. Back then, Yang Hongwu had formed enmity with many people because of Mu Serene, including the nephew of the Heavenly Dragon sect's patriarch, Fangyan. "Junior sister Mu, you're here. Come in quickly. Let me introduce you to someone. Perhaps you know him?" Huaziyu said, "I even know him." When Mu Serene came in and saw Yang Hongwu, her whole body trembled. She stared at Yang Hongwu and tears fell down her cheeks. "Is that you?" Seeing Mu Serene's expression, Yang Hongwu was a little flattered. He couldn't understand why Mu Serene would be like this when she saw him. He didn't understand why she was crying. Moreover, she threw herself into his arms all of a sudden. Beside Yang Hongwu, Yuji and Mu Serene rolled their eyes at him and didn't say anything. The two women weren't surprised by this situation at all. After all, Yang Hongwu's physique was special. Naturally, there were many women who liked him. "Where have you been all these years?" Mu Serene calmed down after a while. With tears still on her face, she looked at Yang Hongwu and asked, Don't cry. Yang Hongwu said. This is not the Mu Shireen I know. I'm crying. Who told you to disappear without a word? Mu Shireen said. I looked for Grandpa about that matter. Speaking of this, Mu Shireen's eyes turned red again. What's wrong? Didn't I say that you won't cry? Yang Hongwu couldn't help but smile bitterly when he saw Mu Shireen's sobbing appearance. Grandpa, Grandpa, he left me alone. Mu Shireen said. What's going on? Yang Hongwu looked at Mu Shireen's appearance. Did something happen to Elder Mu? Huaziyu looked at the relationship between Mu Shireen and Yang Hongwu and smiled bitterly in his heart. Originally, he had a good impression of Mu Shireen and thought that one day he could be together with her. But now, seeing Mu Shireen and Yang Hongwu's appearance, he knew that it was definitely impossible. It's like this. Elder Mu was schemed against when he came to the Tianyi Academy to protect junior sister Mu. He was poisoned and died in the end. Huaziyu said. Yang Hongwu's face darkened and said, What exactly happened? Who did it? Yang Hongwu was very grateful to Elder Mu. After all, when he first entered the Heavenly Dragon sect, Elder Mu took good care of him. It's Buling Tian. Huaziyu said. Who is Buling Tian? Yang Hongwu's face darkened and said with a terrifying murderous aura. Buling Tian is Bu Jitian's cousin. His talent is extraordinary and his strength is terrifying. However, he cultivates an evil technique and needs to use women to cultivate. At that time, he took a fancy to Mu Shireen, so he attacked her. Huaziyu said, What about Buling Tian? Where is he now? Yang Hongwu didn't have any good impression of the Bu clan, just like Bu Jitian. He didn't have a trace of good impression of them. At that time, he didn't do anything to the Bu clan. Now that such a thing had happened, there was no need for the Bu clan to exist. Yang Hongwu, you can't act recklessly. At this time, the soul sage said, I know about this matter. It's indeed Buling Tian's fault. However, it's a critical moment now. All the cultivators in the ancient desolate continent need to join forces to deal with those demons. As the strongest forces in the ancient desolate continent, the Bu clan and the Tianyi Academy are important members in resisting these demons. At this critical moment, we can't have internal strife. Otherwise, it's very likely that it'll cause a huge negative impact. Therefore, since it's related to the overall situation of the ancient desolate continent, you should deal with this matter later. You can deal with it after the ancient desolate battlefield is settled. The overall situation. Yang Hongwu sneered and said, To me, my family and friends are the overall situation. If I can't even protect them, what's the point of talking about anything else? Mu Shireen was touched by Yang Hongwu's words. However, she knew that the Soul Sage was the person with the highest status in the Tianyi Academy other than the Tianyi Academy's dean. How powerful was the Tianyi Academy? Yang Hongwu was only one person. How could he fight against the Tianyi Academy? Moreover, this was the most critical moment of the ancient desolate continent. It was related to the safety of the entire continent. How could she bear to disregard the safety of the entire continent for her own selfish reasons? Chapter 1057. Stand Up for Beauty. Yang Hongwu shook his head and said, Elder Mu has treated me well. How can I forget about taking revenge for him? But, Mu Shireen had heard of Yang Hongwu's legends, but they were just legends. Moreover, Yang Hongwu had only cultivated for a short period of time. Even if he was talented and had a strong body, how could he compare to those old antiques who had cultivated for hundreds of years? There's nothing to worry about. Don't worry, no one in the ancient desolate continent can threaten me. Yang Hongwu said coldly. If I can't even deal with this matter, how can I, Yang Hongwu, survive in the 9 heavens, 10 earths? This was Yang Hongwu's principle. Elder Mu was different from Long Xinwu. Long Xinwu and Yang Hongwu had an exchange of benefits. However, Yang Hongwu knew that Elder Mu was genuinely concerned about him. When Yang Hongwu was expelled from Sky Dragon sect, Elder Mu had always been protecting him. Although he did not manage to change the outcome, Yang Hongwu knew that Elder Mu had tried his best to help Yang Hongwu. In addition to his relationship with Mu Shireen, how could he not take revenge for Elder Mu? Let's go and find Buling Tian first. Yang Hongwu said. This The soul sage smiled bitterly. He didn't expect things to turn out this way. It was all Bulingtian's fault. He didn't know the immensity of heaven and earth. This time, the Bu family wouldn't be able to escape this calamity. He knew Yang Hongwu's character. He would repay kindness, but he would also take revenge for enmity. He was a person who could distinguish between kindness and hatred. Moreover, Yang Hongwu's strength had reached an unimaginable level. Even the soul sage couldn't see through Yang Hongwu's strength. He hoped that the Bu clan and the Tai Academy would give up on Bulingtian for the sake of the big picture. However, it would be difficult. The Bu clan and the Tai Academy valued Bulingtian very much. Bulingtian's status in the Bu clan and the Tai Academy was extraordinary. His talent was outstanding, and his status in the Long clan was much higher than Longhua's. The Bu clan was even willing to sacrifice the patriarch of the Bu clan for Bulingtian. This was enough to prove Bulingtian's status in the Bu clan. Bulingtian is in the ancient desolate battlefield. However, he is protected by the experts of the Tai Academy and the Bu clan. It won't be easy to take his life. Huaziyu shook his head. Although Huaziyu didn't want to see Yang Hongwu and Mu Shireen together, it would be good if he could see Mu Shireen happy and get her revenge. From the moment Mu Shireen threw herself into Yang Hongwu's arms, he knew that he would never have another chance with Mu Shireen. What had not belonged to him would not belong to him in the end. For him, this might be a good thing. From now on, he could give up everything and concentrate on cultivation. He could focus on cultivation and pursue the highest level of martial arts as his life's goal. After thinking this through, Huaziyu's heart suddenly became clear. His aura was constantly rising. He was about to break through. The soul sage was astonished. Huaziyu's aptitude was pretty good. Even though he couldn't compare to Yang Hongwu or Bulingtian, he was still much stronger than the others. However, he had always been stuck at a bottleneck and hadn't been able to break through. He didn't expect that he would break through now. He sighed in his heart as he looked at Yang Hongwu and Mu Shireen. He had always thought that Mu Shireen and Huaziyu were very compatible. Now that Yang Hongwu had appeared, it was a good thing for Huaziyu. Let's go. I'll take you to Bulingtian. Unexpectedly, when Huaziyu was about to break through, he actually forcefully suppressed it and turned to Yang Hongwu. Seeing Huaziyu like this, the soul sage looked regretful and said, Huaziyu, it's okay, Dean Soul Sage. Huaziyu smiled. He didn't care. Yang Hongwu looked at him and said, lead the way for me. I'll give you an opportunity. Yang Hongwu saw what Huaziyu did. For a cultivator, suppressing his cultivation and stopping his breakthrough at this critical moment was extremely disadvantageous to him. It would be fine if his foundation was solid, but if his foundation was not, then it would have a huge impact on his future cultivation. No need. Huaziyu shook his head. I hope you can treat Junior Mu better in the future. That's enough. Senior Hua, thank you. Mu Shireen obviously knew how Huaziyu felt about her. However, she already had someone else in her heart. She couldn't hold it anymore. There's no need to thank me. I'm only doing what I can. I'm very satisfied to see you happy. Huaziyu said. Yang Hongwu sighed. He didn't expect that he would meet such a love rival. It made him sigh. If he met a woman he liked, it was absolutely impossible for him to give her to others. Even if she didn't like him right now, he must snatch her. However, this was just a hypothesis. It was impossible for such a situation to happen. Yang Hongwu was very confident about this. Of course, he had enough women now. He was satisfied. There were times when having too many women wasn't necessarily a good thing. He had divided his feelings too much. Each of his women could only occupy a small part of his heart. Because of this, he couldn't give each of his women a complete feeling. He couldn't give them a complete heart. This was his biggest regret. He owed his women too much. Following behind Huaziyu, Yang Hongwu and the others soon arrived at a courtyard. In the ancient, desolate battlefield, in order to prevent the invasion of devils, the major forces of the ancient, desolate continent had built a city on the periphery. Now, they were in a city built by the Tai Academy. It was called Tai City. This city was tall and majestic. Outside the city, black clouds were rolling. Demonic chi was soaring. The entire city was protected by a huge array that kept the dense demonic chi outside the city. This array was extraordinary. To be able to set up such an array in the ancient desolate continent was enough to prove the strength of the Tai Academy. Although this array was nothing in Yang Hongwu's eyes, it was already very amazing in the ancient desolate continent. This was something that could only be done by an 8th grade array master. An 8th grade array master was a very powerful array master, even in the ancient domain. No matter which force he went to, he would be a distinguished guest. Therefore, the strength of the Tai Academy was beyond Yang Hongwu's imagination. Chapter 1058. Demon Resisting Array Formation, Tai City. What a great Tai City. This array formation is really powerful. If my Tianyi Academy had such an array formation, we wouldn't be in such a sorry state. The Soul Sage sighed as he looked at the majestic city. Although he was the dean of the alchemy department, he had done some research on arrays. He knew that it wasn't easy to set up such an array formation. Seeing that this great formation had blocked the frightening and surging demonic aura outside, it saved the Tai Academy a lot of trouble. It's just an array formation. It's nothing. After I'm done with Beling Tian, I'll set up an array formation for Tianyi Academy. I guarantee that it'll be many times better than this array formation. Yang Hongwu said indifferently, as if this was a trivial matter. That's great. The Soul Sage's eyes lit up when he heard this. However, he didn't believe that Yang Hongwu could set up such a powerful array formation. Although he knew that Yang Hongwu was a powerful alchemist, he might not be able to set up such a powerful array formation. However, the two women beside Yang Hongwu might be able to do it. Let's go in. After Hua Ziyu communicated with them, the gates of Tai City opened. Yang Hongwu and his group entered Tai City. Dean Soul Sage, have you come to Tai City to ask for help? I heard that Tianyi City is already on the verge of collapse. A voice came from not far away. This person was wearing a purple robe. His words were filled with disdain, which made the Soul Sage very unhappy. Hua Ziyu frowned. Just as he was about to speak, the Soul Sage pressed down on him, indicating that he shouldn't speak. That's not it. Tianyi City can still handle it. The Soul Sage was naturally displeased. Although the ancient desolate continent was in a precarious situation and all the major powers should work together, there would still be competition between the major powers. The Celestial Academy had always been the head of the 4 great academies and held a huge advantage. However, ever since the incident in the ancient desolate battlefield, there was a gap between the Celestial Academy and the Celestial Academy. The Celestial Academy obtained a great formation from an unknown place and set it up in the Celestial City. Because of this formation, the Celestial Academy was able to expel the frightening demonic aura from the city. This greatly reduced the pressure on the Celestial Academy and lessened their burden. However, the Celestial Academy was different. The Celestial Academy did not have such a formation in the Celestial City, so they had to be careful and worried at all times. Therefore, their consumption was huge and the loss of their disciples was also great. It was because of this gap that the Tai Academy suddenly surpassed the Tianyi Academy and became the head of the 4 great academies. The person who came was called Bu Yunwang. He was one of Bu Lingtian's uncles and was very strong. He was also an elder of the Celestial Academy. However, his position in the Celestial Academy was not as high as the Soul Sage's position in the Celestial Academy. The Soul Sage was an inner sect elder, while Bu Yunwang was only an outer sect elder. The Soul Sage was an inner sect elder of the Celestial Academy, and his position was extremely high. He was only slightly lower than the Celestial Academy's dean. However, the Celestial Academy did not attach importance to him and only sent an outer sect elder to welcome him. This was a humiliation to the Celestial Academy. More importantly, this guy even mocked the Soul Sage and the Celestial Academy. Although the Soul Sage was angry, he did not act out. However, Yang Hongwu frowned and said, "Who are you? Are you the manager of the Celestial Academy? Who are you?" "I am talking to the Soul Sage." "Why do you have to interrupt?" When Bu Yunwang heard Yang Hongwu's question, he immediately became angry. He looked at him and said coldly, "Do you know the rules?" "Soul Sage, I think your Celestial Academy is going to collapse soon, right? How come the disciples of the sect don't even have the basic etiquette?" Since you're not the manager, get lost. Yang Hongwu waved his hand, and a wave of energy directly shook Bu Yinhuang away. Bu Yinhuang immediately fell flat on his face. When everyone saw this, they burst into laughter. Bu Yinhuang was immediately angered by Yang Hongwu. He said, "Good, very good. Soul Sage, you people of the Celestial Academy dare to treat me like this. Do you want to start a war between the Celestial Academy and the Celestial Academy?" Although the Soul Sage was unwilling, he had no choice but to express his opinion when he saw that the situation had reached this point. After all, Yang Hongwu's strength was there. Even if he was not as strong as the Celestial Academy, he was not much weaker. After all, Yang Hongwu came from the ancient domain. Moreover, even the Soul Sage could not see through Yang Hongwu's cultivation. That meant that Yang Hongwu was an invincible existence in the ancient desolate continent. Unless the Celestial Academy also sent experts from the ancient domain, the Celestial Academy would not be able to suppress Yang Hongwu. Moreover, he could see that Yang Hongwu was so calm. This meant that Yang Hongwu was absolutely confident. Since that was the case, why should he be worried? Taking a step back, the Tai Academy was really too presumptuous. They didn't even give him any face. He was now the number 2 figure of the Tai Academy. He came to Tai City as the representative of the Tai Academy, representing the Tai Academy. However, he received bad treatment and was treated like this by the Tai Academy. This was an insult to the Tai Academy. If he took a step back, then where would the Tai Academy put their face? This was related to the dignity of the Celestial Academy. He could not back down. Can you represent the Celestial Academy and declare war against the Celestial Academy? The Soul Sage said. If so, let's fight. Hua Ziyu and Mu Serene were surprised when they heard the Soul Sage say that. They did not expect the Soul Sage to be so domineering and awe-inspiring when he was angry. These words really made one's blood boil. Bu Yinhuang was infuriated. He really couldn't declare war on behalf of the Tai Academy. Although he was a member of the Bu family, he was only an outer elder of the Tai Academy. If he really made a big deal out of it and the 2 great academies started a war, his position as an outer elder would come to an end. His life might even be in danger. After all, the entire ancient desolate continent was at a critical moment, and there were dangers everywhere. Although the Tai Academy had a huge defensive formation, it couldn't really stop those demons forever. Chapter 1059. The confidence of an expert. What? Scram. All right, tell your dean to scram. Yang Hongwu said arrogantly. He didn't put the people from Tai Academy in his eyes at all. Good, very good. Soul Sage, it seems like you people from Tianyi Academy are tired of living. Bu Yinhuang was furious. However, when he saw Yang Hongwu's murderous look, he couldn't help but scramble away. This young man gave him a terrifying feeling. If he continued to fight with him, he might lose his life. When the Soul Sage saw Yang Hongwu's actions, he couldn't help but smile bitterly. Wasn't he trying to make the Tianyi Academy hate him? Originally, it wouldn't be a big deal if he just wanted to teach Bu Yinhuang a lesson. However, Yang Hongwu's words were a provocation to Tai Academy. Because of this, the people from Tai Academy would definitely be dissatisfied. However, he couldn't do anything about Yang Hongwu's actions. These people are so arrogant. Are the people from Tianyi Academy crazy? They actually dare to provoke Tai Academy in Tai City? The people in Tai City were discussing. After all, this wasn't Tianyi Academy's territory. If the people from Tianyi Academy were to act so arrogantly, it would definitely cause the people from Tai Academy to be dissatisfied. If the people from Tai Academy really wanted to kill them, these people wouldn't be able to escape. As for the 3 women, they were all very beautiful. They would definitely be humiliated. They might even become Bu Ling Tian's cultivation vessels. Dean Soul Sage, you're too impulsive. You should leave quickly. Otherwise, it'll be too late. At this moment, an elegant middle-aged man looked at the Soul Sage and said, Brother Zhao, thank you. Seeing the elegant middle-aged man, the Soul Sage smiled bitterly and shook his head. It's impossible for us to leave now. Furthermore, we came to Tai City this time because of other matters. Before that matter is resolved, we can't leave. As for Bu Yinhuang, you don't have to worry. he won't be able to cause too much trouble. Bu Yinhuang was just a small outer courtyard elder. He didn't care about him at all. The only thing that worried him was Bu Lingtian. Bu Lingtian was not Bu Yinhuang. Bu Lingtian's status and strength were far beyond Bu Yinhuang's. Now, they had to deal with Bu Lingtian. If it was only Bu Lingtian, then it wouldn't be a big deal. After all, Yang Hongwu's strength was obvious. The most important thing was that he was worried that Tai Academy would send experts from ancient domain. In that case, although Yang Hongwu was strong, he estimated that Yang Hongwu wouldn't have much of an advantage. Sai, do you know who this Bu Yinhuang is? Although he's only an outer elder, he is Bu Lingtian's uncle. Do you need me to explain who Bu Lingtian is? The middle-aged man said, So, I advise you to leave this time. As for what you want to do, you can deal with it later. Senior, don't worry. If I dare to do this, I naturally have confidence. Yang Hongwu still had a good impression of this guy. After all, he had good intentions. Young people really don't know the immensity of heaven and earth, Zhao Ting said. However, just as he finished speaking, he looked at Yang Hongwu and frowned. Young man, why do I feel that you are somewhat familiar? I can't remember. Haha, brother Zhao, take a closer look. This is impossible. Didn't he ascend to ancient domain from ancient desolate battlefield? At this moment, Zhao Ting's face was filled with astonishment. He didn't dare to believe it and muttered, Haha, brother Zhao, you didn't see wrong. It's him, Yang Hongwu. He has returned from ancient domain. This time, he has come to solve the problem of the demonic qi in ancient desolate battlefield. The soul sage laughed heartily. Furthermore, the person who has to deal with the problem this time is Yang Hongwu. So it's martial nephew Yang. It seems that I have worried too much. After Zhao Ting confirmed Yang Hongwu's identity, he wasn't that worried anymore. Since Yang Hongwu came from ancient domain, his strength was definitely not that simple. At the very least, he couldn't tell what cultivation level Yang Hongwu was at. This was enough to prove that Yang Hongwu was much stronger than him. Furthermore, ancient domain wouldn't just send one person to solve the problem of ancient desolate continent. Therefore, Zhao Ting wasn't worried anymore. Soul Sage, you old fellow. So it's someone from the upper realm who came to help. It seems that I have worried too much. Zhao Ting said, That's right. Martial nephew Yang. May I know what cultivation level you are at now? Just as Zhao Ting finished speaking, he heard an arrogant voice. A group of people rushed over from afar. It's Bu Lingtian, Zhao Ting explained. Bu Lingtian, you've come at the right time. I'm looking for him this time. A cold light shot out from Yang Hongwu's eyes. Bu Lingtian was nothing. Back then, Zitian was defeated by him. Why would he be worried about Bu Lingtian? Unless Zitian appeared, Yang Hongwu wasn't afraid of anyone in ancient desolate continent. Martial nephew Yang, you can't be careless. Although I don't know what cultivation level you are at, Bu Lingtian isn't as simple as you think. It's said that Bu Lingtian's cultivation level has reached an unimaginable level. Furthermore, he has a powerful weapon. It's said that Bu Lingtian has obtained the inheritance of a great emperor. The weapon in his hand is a peerless emperor weapon. Its power is terrifying. He can even summon the shadow of a great emperor to fight for him. Zhao Ting said solemnly. In Zhao Ting's and the others' minds, a great emperor was the most powerful expert. There was no one stronger than a great emperor. A great emperor was a supreme existence that was absolutely invincible. Although a great emperor expert was just a shadow, it was still a terrifying existence. It was far from what people at their level could resist. A great emperor expert shadow could even easily destroy a world. Inheritance of a great emperor? Shadow of a great emperor? Hearing this, the soul sage's face darkened. If that's the case, I'm afraid we're in trouble. He didn't know how powerful a great emperor was, but he knew that a great emperor was incomparably terrifying. If Bu Lingtian is really so powerful that he can summon a great emperor shadow, Yang Hongwu, you should leave first. I'll block him for you. You're the pride of our Tianyi Academy. With your talent, you'll definitely become a great emperor in the future. The soul sage said to Yang Hongwu in a serious tone. He was prepared to die. For a genius like Yang Hongwu, For a great emperor to appear in the Tianyi Academy in the future, he didn't mind going to his death. Seeing the Soul Sage's reaction, Yang Hongwu was moved. He said, "Dean Soul Sage, don't worry. I'm not afraid, even if a great emperor comes, let alone a mere shadow." Chapter 1060. Annihilation. Yang Hongwu, you mustn't be careless. That's an Emperor Realm expert we're talking about. An Emperor Realm expert is unparalleled. He can easily destroy the entire ancient desolate continent. The Soul Sage reminded Yang Hongwu as he thought that Yang Hongwu didn't know how strong an Emperor Realm expert was. Don't worry, I've seen great emperors before. Moreover, you're the dean of the Soul Saint Academy. Do you think I'm a fool who doesn't know the immensity of heaven and earth? Yang Hongwu smiled and said, "Since I dare to say such a thing, it means that I have enough confidence. Let alone a great emperor. Even if an invincible great emperor comes, I have a way to deal with him." "Who are you? Why are you causing trouble in my Tai city? How dare you?" At this moment, Zetian walked over. Looking at Yang Hongwu and the others, he said coldly, "Isn't this the dean of the Soul Saint Academy? Does your Tianyi Academy want to start a war with my Tai Academy? You're Bustling Tian?" Yang Hongwu looked at the newcomer and asked coldly. Serene, who was beside Yang Hongwu, looked at Bustling Tian with hatred. "Who are you?" "Oh, it's you. Last time, you escaped a calamity. I didn't expect you to deliver yourself to my doorstep this time." When he saw Serene, Bustling Tian smiled evilly. When his eyes fell on Yu Ji and Hua Wuing beside Yang Hongwu, his eyes lit up. Good. Haha. I didn't expect there to be two beauties. I didn't expect there to be such beauties in the ancient desolate continent. Looks like my cultivation base is going to break through again. Yu Ji and Hua Wuing felt uncomfortable when they saw Bustling Tian's gaze. They said to Yang Hongwu, "I don't like his gaze. Husband, dig out his eyes for me first." "Okay." Yang Hongwu nodded. What a big tone. Hearing Yang Hongwu's words, Bustling Tian snorted and said to the two elders beside him, "Elder son, Elder Gu, kill that young man for me. As for the three beauties, don't hurt them." "Yes, young master." The two old men nodded. Then they turned into two shadows, one black and one white. In an instant, they rushed toward Yang Hongwu at an extremely fast speed. When the Soul Sage saw this, he was shocked. Zhao Ting was also shocked. The strength of these two old men was so terrifying. Even if they hadn't reached the divine realm, they weren't far from it. The Bu family and Tai Academy had hidden themselves too deeply. Bustling Tian was unexpectedly protected by such a terrifying expert. Scram! Yang Hongwu coldly harumphed, and a majestic energy burst out, instantly killing the two old men. The others weren't injured at all. Serene and the Soul Sage didn't see Yang Hongwu's movement at all. They only heard his shout, and the two old men were sent flying. Then they lost their lives. This kind of cultivation, this kind of means, was really shocking. Bustling Tian was also shocked when he saw this scene. He didn't expect this young man to have such a strange means. His two old servants were left to him by his master to protect him. He knew how powerful these two old servants were. Even the dean of Tai Academy might not be a match for them. It could be said that if the two old servants joined forces, no one in the ancient desolate continent could be a match for them. That was why he could be so arrogant. However, these two experts were killed so easily this time. It was too strange. This young man, what kind of strange means did he use? However, Bustling Tian wasn't afraid. Although these two old servants were powerful, they weren't his greatest trump card. His greatest trump card was an emperor weapon and a talisman. This talisman could summon the shadow of his master, a great emperor. Back then, he had obtained the inheritance of a great emperor in an ancient inheritance. This great emperor was called the Evil Dragon Great Emperor. He was very powerful. Seeing that Bustling Tian had a special physique, he took him as his disciple and gave him the inheritance, an emperor weapon and a talisman, which increased the strength of his two old servants. That was why Bustling Tian wasn't afraid. If his life was in danger, he could still summon the real body of his master. However, that would cost a lot. If it wasn't the most critical moment, he wouldn't do that. Little bastard, what kind of means did you use? What kind of treasure did you use to kill my 2 old servants and bring it out? Perhaps I can spare your life. Ling Tian wasn't afraid. He looked at Yang Hongwu with greed in his eyes. Your pair of eyes, I want them. Yang Hongwu ignored him. A terrifying aura exploded from his body and instantly enveloped Ling Tian. This time, Ling Tian was stunned by this terrifying aura. He couldn't move his body. Even his soul was shocked. This time, Ling Tian was scared. He didn't expect the strength of the young man in front of him to be so terrifying. He didn't know what powerful treasure the young man had on him, but the aura that burst out made him unable to move at all. He couldn't even use the talisman to summon his master. At this time, he regretted. He regretted being so arrogant. Why didn't he use the talisman to summon the phantom of the evil dragon Great Emperor? If he could summon the phantom of the evil dragon Great Emperor, he wouldn't be in such a situation. He couldn't even open his mouth to speak now. He could only watch as Yang Hongwu approached him. Yang Hongwu's hands were about to dig out his eyeballs in an instant. Boom! Just as Yang Hongwu's hands were about to touch Ling Tian's eyes, a string of pearls on his neck exploded with a dazzling light. A terrifying energy soared into the sky. A terrifying dragon roar rang out as a gigantic dragon flew out. Who is so bold to touch my disciple? The huge dragon coiled in the sky and opened its mouth. It was an evil dragon. It was none other than the evil dragon Great Emperor. It's actually a mixed breed dragon. Yang Hongwu looked at the huge dragon in the sky. The dragon's bloodline was mixed. However, what surprised Yang Hongwu was that this dragon had cultivated to the Great Emperor realm. However, the aura on this guy made Yang Hongwu hate it. If it was a pure devil dragon, Yang Hongwu wouldn't feel so uncomfortable. However, this dragon was different. The aura on its body was especially annoying. Chapter 1061. Overwhelming Suppression, Mongrel Dragon. Are you trying to stop me? Yang Hongwu looked at the huge, evil dragon and asked, Who are you? I can actually feel the pressure of an ancestral dragon from your body. The evil dragon emperor looked at Yang Hongwu in shock. A human actually had the terrifying bloodline pressure of dragons. To the evil dragon emperor, this was inconceivable. Moreover, he was from the evil dragon race. He wasn't affected by the bloodline power of ordinary dragons. Even if the other party's bloodline was very high, it wouldn't have any effect on him. However, the bloodline power of this human had such a huge effect on him. How could he not be shocked? However, on second thought, this was just a low-level plane. In this plane, there wasn't even a great sage expert. So why would he care? Moreover, when he thought of the powerful bloodline of dragons in this human's body, if he could devour it, then his bloodline grade would undergo a huge change. At that time, even those ancestral dragons in the dragon field might not be his match. When he thought of this, he was extremely excited. Once the ancestral dragon in the dragon field no longer suppressed his bloodline, then he would be able to move unhindered in the dragon field. He wouldn't need to worry about those damn dragons chasing after him. At that time, who knew who would kill who? Perhaps he could use this opportunity to break through to the invincible Great Emperor realm. At that time, he would be the master of the entire dragon field, the Dragon Emperor of Dragons. Those who had chased after him, no, those dragons would all be executed. And that damned woman, didn't I just whistle at her, and she chased me for hundreds of years? If I hadn't coincidentally entered an ancient ruin, I would have died in her hands. That woman must become my furnace. Thinking of this, the evil Dragon Emperor revealed a sinister smile. However, all of this was very sinister in Yang Hongwu's eyes. What a mongrel dragon. Looks like you're courting death. Yang Hongwu said, In that case, I'll send you to hell. Little worm, what did you say? Send me to hell? Ha, what a joke. This is the biggest joke I've ever heard. You're just a mere mortal, yet you dare to speak such arrogant words to the mighty, evil Dragon Emperor? The evil Dragon Emperor laughed loudly. He didn't put Yang Hongwu in his eyes at all. Master, kill him, you have to kill him. He dares look down on you. What's worse is that he wants to kill me. I told him your name, but he didn't care. He even insulted you. You have to kill him, shouted Ling Tian. Don't worry, my good disciple. This little bastard doesn't put me in his eyes, and even wants to kill you. I definitely won't let him go. I'm going to swallow him alive." The evil dragon emperor opened his huge mouth and spat out mouthfuls of stinky breath, causing people to feel incomparably disgusted. The soul sage, Serene, and the others' expressions changed drastically when they heard this. This giant dragon was extremely frightening. Just its aura alone was enough to make them unable to stand. If Yang Hongwu hadn't blocked it, they wouldn't have had the courage to stand here. They didn't have the slightest bit of strength left. After all, this pressure wasn't something they could withstand. It was the pressure of a great emperor expert. On the other hand, Yuji and Hua Wuing weren't worried at all. After all, they were Yang Hongwu's true women. They knew Yang Hongwu's strength very well. Although Yang Hongwu's cultivation wasn't at the great emperor realm, his strength and battle prowess were extremely terrifying. Even unrivaled great emperors might not be a match for Yang Hongwu. Unless an expert at the Tai true god realm came, the opponent wouldn't be able to deal with Yang Hongwu. "Don't worry, it's just a mongrel dragon. He can handle it," Hua Wuing said after seeing Mu Shirin's anxious and worried expression. "Is that really possible? Isn't that a great emperor expert?" Mu Shirin was still worried. "You have to believe in him," Yuji said. At this time, Yang Hongwu coldly looked at the evil dragon emperor and said, "Swallow me alive? You're courting death." After saying that, a terrifying aura erupted from Yang Hongwu's body. A monstrous bloodline power erupted. This was the bloodline power of Yang Hongwu's 9-dragon saint body. This bloodline power had a terrifying pressure on any dragon. Although the evil dragon emperor was a great emperor dragon, his bloodline wasn't pure. In front of Yang Hongwu, his bloodline was simply too weak. When Yang Hongwu completely erupted, he also unleashed the 9 dragons saint body's battle physique phenomenon. 9 giant dragons roared in the sky, exerting pressure on the evil dragon emperor's soul. The evil dragon great emperor in front of him was just an illusion. Even the real evil dragon great emperor had no way to resist this terrifying pressure. How could this mere illusion withstand it? Under this powerful pressure, the evil dragon emperor was instantly suppressed. The huge evil dragon phantom looked like it was about to collapse under this terrifying pressure. The evil dragon emperor was shocked. This youth's cultivation wasn't very high, but this pressure, this bloodline pressure, and this soul pressure were abnormally terrifying. How could a mere mortal possess this kind of pressure? This was even more frightening than the Dragon Emperor of Dragons. Now, he regretted provoking such an existence. Although this was only a clone, a phantom, such an expert could easily destroy this phantom. Moreover, this phantom could directly attack the evil Dragon Emperor's true body. Even if the opponent didn't attack the evil Dragon Emperor's true body and only killed this phantom, it would still cause considerable damage to the evil Dragon Emperor's true body. "You? Just who are you?" The evil Dragon Emperor looked at Yang Hongwu, and his tone became subservient. His huge body had shrunk a lot. Compared to before, it could be said that one was heaven and one was earth. "You don't need to know who I am. Now it's time to send you to hell." A battle blade appeared in Yang Hongwu's hand. This was the Grand Mist battle blade. This battle blade was the original 9 Dragons battle blade. After transforming into the Grand Mist battle blade, it was even more powerful and terrifying. It had a terrifying deterrent effect on dragons. The evil Dragon Emperor looked at this battle blade and trembled. He could feel that this battle blade had terrifying damage to him. It could even directly devour his soul and kill this phantom of his. It could also directly attack his true body and cause an indelible effect on his true body. You can't kill me. I'm the great Emperor of Dragons. If you kill me, you'll offend all the dragons in the dragon domain." The evil Dragon Emperor first threatened Yang Hongwu, but seeing that Yang Hongwu was unmoved, he hurriedly begged, "I won't take revenge for that little bastard Bustling. I'll help you kill him, kill that little bastard. If he dares to offend you, as long as you don't kill me, I can even give you all of my treasures. Just spare this lowly dragon." Seeing this scene, everyone was shocked to the extreme. Especially Bustling. He couldn't believe it. This was a great emperor expert. What kind of existence was a great emperor? They were supreme and invincible existences. Now, they were begging for mercy in such a low voice. This simply overturned his understanding. You're tuning into the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.